when they talk about data science, right? So আহ, আজ থেকে 3-4 বছর আগে আমি একটা রিসার্চ করেছি আর কি। সেটা হচ্ছে এখানকার আমেরিকায় একটা গ্লাসডোর একটা ওয়েবসাইট আছে, যেখানে কোম্পানিগুলা তাদের ডেটা সায়েন্স জব পোস্টিং করে, এবং যারা জব খোঁজে তারা এখানে গিয়ে অ্যাপ্লাই করে আর কি। তো একটা রিসার্চ এটা আমি করেছি, এবং এটা আমি কিন্তু ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে, আপনারা শুনেছেন 2-1 বছর আগেই হয়েছে যে ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটি শতবর্ষ উদযাপন করেছে। 100 বর্ষ উপলক্ষে সেখানে কতগুলা সেমিনার হয়েছে, আর্টস ফ্যাকাল্টি, সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টি, কমার্স, আরো অন্যান্য সোশ্যাল সায়েন্স, অনেকগুলা সেমিনার হয়েছে, ওয়েবিনার অনেকগুলো হয়েছে 100 বছর পূর্তি উপলক্ষে। এটা সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টিতে এই টপিকসটা, এটা তখন আমি এই রিসার্চটা করেছি এবং এটা সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টিতে তা সাবমিট করেছি, এবং সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টিতে এটা প্রেজেন্ট করেছি। এবং এটা কিন্তু ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটির এই যে জার্নালে কিন্তু এটা সেন্টেনিয়াল কনফারেন্সের যে প্রসিডিং, সেখানে এটা পাবলিশ হয়েছে। কিন্তু এটা স্লাইড ফরম্যাটে, কিন্তু এটা দি ওয়ার্ড ডকুমেন্ট পিডিএফ ফাইল, লেটস সে 15 থেকে 20 পৃষ্ঠার একটা প্রসিডিংস এটা এসছে আর কি, নট স্লাইড। তো আমি এখানে কিছু জিনিস শেয়ার করবো। ডেটা সায়েন্টিস্ট, হোয়াট ইজ ডেটা সায়েন্টিস্ট রোল, রাইট? So I'll go over these topics. This research design. I'll not go very all the slides, but I'll go. So 21st, so in the early 21st century, big data has come into picture. And before 2000, let's say, companies, they used to be happy with their transactional data, internal data, their business data. But after this century, after 2000, that big data has come into picture, social media and lot of other thing, internet, lot of generated data generated outside. Now that next business companies, they find that data, they can find business value out of that data, right? So big data technology, it has come with a lot of new tools and technologies. And the big data started its journey with the one non-profit foundation. It's called Apache Software Foundation. They have actually free, they have a lot of tools and technologies they have come, and to process, store, ingest big data, process it, and generate the report, right? So early contributors, you can see Google, Yahoo, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, all these big companies. When big data it has come, all these companies actually they participated. So what is big data actually compared to conventional data? I will say conventional data that we have been companies, they have been using since maybe late 60s or 70s, the last century. And compared to that, big data, it has distinct characteristics like volume, velocity. Volume, big data, it comes a large volume of data need to store. So this is one characteristic. To handle, store large volume of data, something needs to be cheaper, something needs to be scalable, something needs to be very smart to store large volume of data. Then comes another characteristic, big data, it has velocity. It will come very fast, like sensor data, it will come very fast, right? Then in the US, you will hear that autonomous driving, the car driver will not do anything. It will be from center, it will collect all the data, sensor data, it will be receiving, and it will be giving the direction, right? So it will come very fast and near real time, and that needs to be processed. So with such a high velocity, data need to be actually ingested very fast also. For that, new technology needed. Like I said, 2000 আগে কোম্পানিগুলা তারা যে ডেটা তারা রিসিভ করতে হয়, এটা জাস্ট ইন্টারনাল ট্রানজেকশনাল ডেটা। কিন্তু বিগ ডেটা এখন এই ডিফারেন্ট ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক্স, ভ্যারাইটি। ইট হ্যাজ বিগ ডেটা বিফোর 2000, লেটস সে, আই এম জাস্ট গিভিং দ্য বল্ক পার, লাইক বিফোর 2000. It could be some variation, but last century we talked about like mostly structured data. যা আপনি শুনে থাকবেন, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, তারা যে ডেটা স্টোর করে এটা হচ্ছে structured data, transactional data. But with big data, it is unstructured, semi-structured data, more than 90% unstructured data. And the veracity is that the data comes from many sources. Transactional data companies, internal data যেখানে এটা ক্রিয়েট হয়, এটা যেখানে যায় ট্রেস করা যায়, কিন্তু বিগ ডেটা এটা ট্রেস করা অনেক সময় জানা, ট্রেসিবিলি ইন্টারনেট থেকে কালেক্ট করা, ইটস গড। And business value companies after this century, companies they find actually business value in big data. Let's say before 2000, this machine learning, artificial intelligence, you name this kind of thing, in schools in this country, they used to teach those machine learning, artificial intelligence that time also. But we did not have tools and technologies to process. But in the meantime, last 25 years, let's say 20 years, software maturity, hardware maturity, database storage became cheaper, scalability, all these factors contributed to actually do some more out of data. এখন কোম্পানিগুলো তারা they find it that they have tools, technologies, storage actually to analyze large volume of data. Many data is just maybe junk also, but still they can find some value. Processing huge data, they can actually find them value. So all these 5 characteristics, this demand a new set of tools and technologies, and that's what the actually big data tools and technology they provide the same time. And so let's see, next big data technology প্রথম যখন এটা শুরু হয়েছে এটা হচ্ছে হাডুপ ডিস্ট্রিবিউশন, অ্যাপাচি হাডুপ ডিস্ট্রিবিউশন। এটা শুনে থাকবেন এইচডিএফএস, হাডুপ ডিস্ট্রিবিউটেড ফাইল সিস্টেম। ডেটা স্টোর করা হচ্ছে না, ডেটা ইজ নো লঙ্গার স্টোর্ড ইন অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইন এ ডেটাবেস software, the tables, it is a database system, it is distributed file system as a file it is, and then it has processing, map reduce. So early যখন ডেটাবেস পিকচারে এসছে তখন হাডুপ সরি বিগ ডেটা হাডুপ ম্যাপ রিডিউস এটার অনেক ইউজ হয়েছে। আপনি যদি গুগল সার্চ করেন ইউ উইল ফাইন্ড লটস অফ অ্যাকচুয়ালি টেকনিক্যাল ডকুমেন্টেশন, জার্নাল পেপার্স অ্যাকচুয়ালি রিটেন ইন দিস এরিয়াস হাডুপ HDFS. But soon after that, actually, there are some big companies, cloud platforms, they come up with cloud platforms. So Hadoop is called open source, and it actually it's on-premise deployments. কিন্তু alternative cloud platform হচ্ছে vendor provided, like Google, they have GCP, Amazon, they have web service, AWS, এবং Microsoft, they have Azure. All these big companies actually they took over those concepts, HDFS, MapReduce, they took over those concepts and actually then it started doing cloud platform. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so Hadoop going forward, it is winding down. You'll not hear that much. You'll see all these big companies. They're doing cloud. They are providing all this big data. They're cloud enabled. So next slide, the data source, big data, sources of big data. Last many decades, let's say 1960s, companies they used to, from 60s to let's say 2000, company even today, companies used to depend on this transactional data, that is which is core data. Companies they used to make the decision based on this data, right? Structured data. They store in database, Oracle, SQL, or many places. But now with big data, you can see data comes from many places. Companies they don't want to make their business decision based on their internal data only. They want to actually, whenever whatever is needed based on their business, they want to collect data from many places. Okay, and that data needs to be ingested. So you can see semi-structured, unstructured data, right? So now you can see data is actually lots of data. Companies they want to when they make a business decision based on a 360 degree, let's say, they want to see everything, companies internal environment, external environment, collecting all data. They want to actually make business decisions. Okay. Data scientist, data analytics, data scientist role. Data scientists, they have couple of roles. Like data scientist role is employer's perspective about data scientist. This research, it is actually trying to collect data. Employers, what is the employer's perspective about a data scientist? They expect from a data scientist and a holistic view of data scientist role. So big data flow, the এটা domain knowledge, then it's selection of data, data processing, transformation, data mining, evaluation, and visualization. Typically data goes through all these processes. ওভারভিউ, এটা একটা বিগ ডাটা অ্যাপ্লিকেশন। এটা দেখানো হচ্ছে যে একটা ইমেল সার্ভার থেকে ডেটা কালেক্ট করা হচ্ছে, সেখান থেকে ইউজিং ডেটা সার্ভে দি বিগ ডাটা টুল পিক ইউ ক্যান সি, অ্যান্ড দেন ডেটা কালেক্ট করা হচ্ছে সিকিউর ডেটাবেস থেকে, স্ট্রাকচার্ড অলসো, এবং তারপরে এটা ট্রান্সফর্ম করা হচ্ছে, এবং হাইভ হচ্ছে একটা এটা আন্ডারলাইং, এটা map reduce functionality it has. It reads data, it summarizes, and it actually puts in a table format like our traditional the database software. And then it is Impala is a reporting another environment. Based on that, Impala actually it provides reporting capability. Actually reporting is here, Impala is creating the environment to read the data. So literature review, I'll skip this. Data quality, I'll skip these slides. So let's see. Data collection. Okay, data collection, the research data calculation is from Glassdoor. Job posting. Job posting, individual interviews of industry expert. Based on this data collected, right? And the target population was Glassdoor open jobs, job posting between November 2000 to January 2021. And sample size randomly selected 100 jobs. Okay, and বিভিন্ন ইন্ডাস্ট্রি থেকে কোম্পানিগুলো, they belong to many industries. আমরা যখন এখানে যাই, এখানে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে যখন সামারাইজ করা হচ্ছে 100 data scientist job posting, what kind of skills this company, তারা যখন জব অ্যাডভার্টাইজ দিয়েছে তারা কি জিনিস তারা করেছে, এটা এখান থেকে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন যে পাইথন, you can see bar is very high, and on the other end you can see the SQL is also high, right? And there are some other R is used. So Python are between them industry, Python is more used than R. And SQL database, SQL will be used because companies, they do their store their data in databases, right? So SQL will be needed. Even you data scientist, you might think data scientist is like writing machine learning algorithm. Even though you don't have any programming background, you aspire, you think you have to do machine learning means you have to write algorithm, right? This, right? So remember, in this dunya there are a lot of smart people. They did their bachelor's, master's, PhD in computer science, right? We are a lot of smart people. Bangladesh, you might think top ranking school is BUET. America, Bangladesh's population double ekhane America, but in this country America, you'll have dozens of schools. They are like BUET, better than BUET, dozens of schools in this country. So a lot of actually graduates, they from all over the world, they come, students, they come, they do their bachelor's in computer science, they do PhD, machine learning, everything, right? So you can think of that not necessarily to be data scientist, you have to be very good algorithm you can write, that is you'll be thinking, right? You can actually machine learning, there are 80% activities is actually data preparation. Model development, it is maybe 20%. You will see many industry, the documents also, you will see that is it. So based on your expertise, based on your skill set, try this databases, try to learn how to prepare data, how to process data. If you are not that area, don't think you are doing a bachelor's degree in sociology now. You have to write, because the keyword is machine learning, you have to write algorithm. No, there are a lot of work there. One other thing I want to call out is that companies historically, they store data in database system. So big companies, they have data from coming from many places and they store it. So the SQL database will always stay because companies, they এবং কোম্পানি যেহেতু তাদের ট্রানজাকশনাল ডাটা সিকিউর ডাটাবেজে তারা স্টোর করে, তারা সব সময় তাদের রিপোর্ট রাইটিং ক্যাপাবিলিটি থাকবে এবং কন্টিনিউয়াসলি তাদের প্রজেক্ট থাকবে। এই ধরনের মেশিন লার্নিং বা এই ধরনের প্রজেক্ট, ইট উইল নট কাম ভেরি কন্টিনিউয়াসলি, it will not come continuously. here and there, some business they will say I need this, maybe predictive analytics I need this. That is not very frequently continuous flow, but the transactional data, it will be a continuous flow. Companies will data store, data will be growing in database system, and there will be data there, right? So you need to have a very good background in relational database, SQL also. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Competing platform is Hadoop, Spark, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and these last three are actually they are going to survive, and the Hadoop these are going to wind down. Next slide, it is actually I'm summarizing. It is showing Microsoft SQL Server. You can see Oracle, NoSQL, Postgres. You can see all these database. It gives us information, right? So that the employer they are actually looking for, that is summarized, looking for this kind of skill set. Next slide, you can see the frequencies like AI machine learning tools, and there are other the machine learning models. You can see regression, clustering, classification, decision tree, all these things. Just giving a glimpse of actually what they said actually in their job posting. তারপর visualization tools is reporting. You can see two industry dominant tool is Power BI, which is owned by Microsoft, and the other is Tableau. So if you learned Power BI, you are very good at it. You're, let's say you're a go-to person, you should be saved. Microsoft, this Power BI, it is here for the next, at least for next decade, at least for next 10 years. This is Microsoft big company, and the Power BI, it is very good tool, right? Okay. And then the industry experts view, industry experts, they what they then I interviewed some industry experts also. They are in their view, what should be a data scientist actually quality, this skill set, understanding business problem. So they're saying data scientists need to understand the business problem, formulate data science problem, have a conversation with customers, clear and providers, and get hold of data pertaining to the problem statement. Domain expertise, need combination of business understanding, strong analytical, this thing, need to align real world versus. So you can see, don't think data scientist is just algorithm writing. Data scientists, they are multiple heads. They have to have a good knowledge of business. If you don't know your company's business data, you'll not be able to proceed much. You'll not be able to do discovery because you don't know company's data, right? The conversation with customers, maybe you are backend, you can write code, but the thing is talking to customers, that requires a different skill set, right? So you need to have a good conversation with customers, need to be patient, very polite, very professional, right? That is another skill set, right? And then get hold of data. Yeah, you understand the business problem, you understand customers requirement, data problem, what is now, where do you get the data from? You need to find the data from sources. You need to see how you actually bring it, ingest data, and how you process it, right? Domain expertise needed to build good data model. Domain expertise again is company's business data. So that's why you are, let's say, you're early on in your career, you might actually aspire to be a data analyst or data modeler, data architect. So that will actually work there for 2-3 years. That will give you opportunity to actually understand the company's data. Need a combination of business understanding. So all these real world versus what is going on in your model. You develop a model, writing code, and it is showing some data. Actually, really, it is actually what you generate is really making sense with real world business. If it is not, you need to revisit it. Right. So takeaways. So data scientist, what should data science? Again, I have put bullet points, this slide and next slide. A data scientist needs to have a business domain knowledge. So let's say data scientists, there are skill set. At least you need to have some, so you can actually be team member. Data science project is not done by one individual person, one person only. There are the team. Here in the companies, we do any project, multiple people daily, we meet daily stand-up meeting, multiple people, they have different roles, right? So business domain knowledge, you need to have programming skills, right? And then knowledge of relational database, right? So of this needed. So there's three: business domain, programming, and knowledge of relation database. And then another takeaways is strong theoretical and practical knowledge of statistical analysis, machine learning, right? So you might have a statistics background, but you are not a good writing algorithm. But you need to talk to someone who is going to write algorithm. You need to explain actually all the statistical, the regression, the logistic regression, the behind the scene actually it is statistics, behind the scene it's math, right? As a, if you are a statistician, your role is actually to actually assist the guy who is going to write the code, right? You need to give the theoretical, right, strong theoretical and practical knowledge. Work closely with the stakeholders, product owners, engineers, marketing, senior leadership, right? You write something, if you cannot convince, so you did all extraction, analysis, processing, develop model. If you cannot convince the senior leaders of your company, nobody is going to buy it. If you cannot convince the customers, nobody is going to actually accept your model, whatever you have done. And then eventually visualization tools to interpret and communicate the results, develop Power BI, right? So all these are needed. So yeah, like I said, these 6 bullet points I have mentioned here. Try to achieve something. You are just not all the time think data science means algorithm development, right? Lot of roles there. 80% job is actually besides algorithm. Okay, I'll stop here. So it is like since I presented Dhaka University conference, it was actually conclusion I say is data science is amalgam of interdisciplinary knowledge, domain knowledge, programming skill, analytic skill, critical abilities. Academic curriculum needs to provide solid foundation of multidisciplinary knowledge, tools, techniques, and critical abilities. In Bangladesh, we see universities, if they have a statistics subject, they will teach everything statistics, no other sociology, economics, nothing that much, right? So there should be some here in this country. If you are doing engineering degree, you will be compelled to do some classes, many classes from outside, social science, business. Or if you are trying to do a business degree, you will be compelled to say 50% course you have to do take from outside business school, maybe sociology, economics, the social science, other department, right? So interdisciplinary knowledge are needed, right? Not just writing code. So data scientists needs to acquire these skills via academic curriculum and personal learning initiative. This is another thing. This is a good point is that academic curriculum school, they cannot teach you everything. You need to have personal initiative, right? Very popular keyword I know in Bangladesh, freelancing. And freelancing means like most of the they think something non-technical freelancing, those things. But there are a lot of YouTube videos there, right? Any field, every field. And because of internet, YouTube video, this time, during our time, it is very hard to actually remain ignorant, even let's say the early days like Bangladesh, from some Islamic topic I discuss, I need to go to local masjid or somewhere who might not have that knowledge, right? These days internet, you can go very famous sites, you can any Islamic topic complex, you can actually find answer there. Same way you're programming anything, and very YouTube video, those who do it, very skilled people, they YouTube video. And even from here in the US, we actually listen to the YouTube videos from doctors in Bangladesh. Many Bangladeshi doctors, they are actually they do YouTube video. Maybe they will not get chance to go to Bangladesh TV because there are some bureaucracy there. But now people, those doctors, they have a skill set, they can actually convey their message. They don't care about going to any TV channel. they will start building their ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। এবং আমি দেখছি বহু বাংলাদেশি ডাক্তার যারা ইউটিউব চ্যানেলে তাদের হেলথ বিষয়ে কথাবার্তা বলে, very smart, very good, very eloquently they can say, right? So in this age of internet and YouTube video, everything you can, if you are smart in something, you can do this. Even in this country, some people are crazy. They want to do something, they know, let's say physics, they know it, they want to convey, they want to create a PowerPoint video, YouTube video, very nice way. and they actually, that is their craziness, they will do it and other will, they will read it. So a lot of things you can, personal learning initiative do. Even in companies, in 10-15 years ago, our employers, they used to actually train us with senior people, expert people, that we used to go to some site or some room for training. Now this day, or they will bring the trainers, vendors from outside. These days they say, well, we cannot do that business anymore, you have to learn it on your own. You are doing job, an IT job, data science, all these things, there are lots of tools and technologies, right? They change quite often. You might focus on one tools and technology, maybe 10 years you think actually you will be retiring on this. Actually IT, you cannot do this. Tools and technology change very fast. Why it changes? Because they make improvement and company, and they make cheaper. Let's say you are using, your vendor is one company, they're expensive. In the meantime, another company, they came, they say, we are can provide you more efficient, more scalable and cheaper. Like it's a paradigm shift. Then that company will say, okay, we need to change the vendor. When the company change vendor, let's say your company is using Oracle database, right? And you are very good, try to very expert in it. Then you will say, okay, company would say, no, actually I want to use actually SAP in-memory database, right, for my business reason. Then you have to learn that piece also. Okay, so তাহলে Oracle থেকে চেঞ্জ হয়ে যাচ্ছে, right? অতএব you need to learn the in-memory database. So tools and technology will change a lot. Okay, and then you have to be with that. এবং কোম্পানিগুলো এদেশে, they will not actually hire you or keep you because you are working this company for many years. Not really. They will switch. Capitalist country, they will be rolling their capital. যে এরিয়াতে তাদের মানি মেক হবে না, তারা সেটা চেঞ্জ করে ফেলবে, রাইট? হয়তো ধরেন Oracle ইউজ করতেছে, Oracle ভেরি এক্সপেন্সিভ, ওকে অ্যানাদার কোম্পানি অফারিং মাচ চিপার, ওকে আই উইল গো দেয়ার, রাইট? তখন যেটা হবে যে আপনাকে অ্যানাদার টেকনোলজি যখন অ্যাডপ্ট করবে, ইউ হ্যাভ টু লার্ন ইট। ইফ ইউ সে নো আই ডোন্ট ওয়ান্ট টু ডু ইট, ওকে, দেন ইউ ডোন্ট হ্যাভ জব। Okay, so that's what I want to share. Let me go to another slide. I'll share another document. In the meantime, if you have any question, please let me know. হ্যাঁ বলেন।
বলেন,
শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। হ্যাঁ বলেন।
শাহবাজ আপনার কানেকশন হয়ে গেছে, মানে সাউন্ড আসছে
শোনা যাচ্ছে না, শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Very loud and clear.
হ্যাঁ, স্যার যেটা বলতে যাচ্ছিলাম সেটা হচ্ছে যে ডে বাই ডে, মানে ডেটার যে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন ফিল্ড এবং এটার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে হচ্ছে যে মানে ডেটার অ্যাপ্লিকেশনের যেই পার্ট গুলো, লাইক হচ্ছে যে আগে যেমন ওরাকলের ইয়াটা বেশি ছিল, আগে বলতে মানে প্রিভিয়াস 15 থেকে 20 বছর পর্যন্ত, এটা কি চেঞ্জ হইতে পারে? আই মিন হচ্ছে এটা কি চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে?
Oracle, most probably, Oracle is a stable database. Most probably, they will be on the market for a long time, right? But who knows? Oracle তারা সুইচ করতেছে, ওই যে ক্লাউড এনভায়রনমেন্ট, এগুলো তারা করবে। Oracle, not many years I am not using it, Oracle. Actually I am an Oracle certified developer and DBA also. So they have to be relevant. টুলস অ্যান্ড টেকনোলজি চেঞ্জ হবে, তারা ওর সাথে যদি তারা অ্যাকোমোডেট করতে না পারে, দে উইল বি আউট অফ বিজনেস। ওকে, বাট রিলেশনাল ডাটাবেস, ভেরি গুড ডাটাবেস, Oracle, SQL Server. Then in the party used to be IBM DB2, তারপর Oracle, তারপর SQL Server, Teradata, তারপরে SAP in-memory database. Okay, so I am sharing another slide. ওকে, সো এই কোর্সটার আমরা দিয়েছি ডিএস, কোর্স কোড হচ্ছে ডিএস, ডেটা সায়েন্স 510, কোর্স নাম্বার ডেটাবেস সিস্টেম। ওকে, সো let's move it. I'll talk about this, how to reach me, course expectation, grading, and topic we are discussing. So far I discussed decision support system. This time I'm going to actually talk about database design. and then another slide I'll have. So contacting instructor, আপনারা আমাকে এই ইমেইলে যোগাযোগ করতে পারেন, ঠিক আছে। সাবজেক্ট লাইন অলওয়েজ ইউ নিড টু মেনশন অ্যাকচুয়ালি কোর্স নাম্বার, এবং এটাকে আমরা দিয়েছি সামার 2024, এবং কোন উইকের প্রশ্ন সেটাই করতে হবে সাবজেক্ট লাইনে। আমি এখানে বাই দ্য ওয়ে আমি এই কোর্সগুলো, এই যে স্লাইডগুলো শেয়ার করতেছি, এখানে যে আমি ইউনিভার্সিটিতে পড়ে ঠিক এই স্লাইডগুলো আমি শেয়ার করি। অতএব আরেকটা কথা হচ্ছে যে মনে রাখবেন যে এই কোর্সটাতে don't take it lightly. Think of it, let's say you have come to America to do a master's degree, you are attending this database class. Take it that spirit, with that spirit, ঠিক আছে। অতএব এখানে যে রুলগুলা, এগুলা আপনি আমেরিকা আসলে দেখবেন টিচাররা এইসব রুল সেট করে। যেমন অনেক আমি হয়তো 2টা কোর্স পড়াই, এখন স্টুডেন্টরা তারা ইমেল পাঠায় সাবজেক্ট লাইনে কিছুই বললো না, তখন আমি জানি না অ্যাকচুয়ালি সে এই স্টুডেন্ট কোন কোর্সের, সে কি আমার কোর্স, দিস কোর্স অর দ্যাট কোর্স, রাইট। তাহলে okay, so let me see, let me make it full screen. Is it better now?
Yes, we can see
Okay.
clearly.
Okay. Okay, so full screen I have made it. Okay, so let's see, my mouse is working still. Okay, so subject line, any email you write, you need to say course number, you need to say which week you are talking about, right? And office hour এখানে আমি সাধারণত এখানে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে বলি বাই অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট, কারণ অনেক সময় স্টুডেন্ট তারা for no reason they want to meet with me, then I set up a meeting, I talk to them, they have nothing in there. So I tell them, okay, send me an email, articulate your problem, and so then I'll decide actually if I need to meet you. Something I can talk on the phone also. I see that is effective, so I will decide. Actually আমরা এই কোর্সগুলো যেভাবে সেট আপ করছি, 3 or 4 days later we will have a session, actually we will talk there. Appointment is not needed here. So learning outcome is going to be apply the basic concepts of decision support system, databases, data warehousing, understanding the basic concepts of data modeling, SQL, using MySQL, Oracle, or you can use any database actually. You don't have to be confined. Let's say you work in industry, you are using Oracle database, you don't need to install MySQL. If you are using SQL Server, you don't need to install, but you cannot use Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access is, we cannot use this course. It needs to be some smart relational database. আপনি এটা করতে পারেন MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, this kind of Teradata or SAP in memory HANA যদি আপনাদের থাকে. And there is demonstrate level communication, communication through companies English. They will have sub write up also. Grading is assignments weekly. And guest speaker, আমি এখানে সাধারণত যে ইউনিভার্সিটিতে টিচিং করি আমার কলিগদেরকে, আমি ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে জব করি, ইউনিভার্সিটি কলিগদেরকে বলি যে তারা কোন ইউনিভার্সিটিতে এসে একটা আমার ক্লাসে সেশনে একটা টক দেওয়ার জন্য। এবং এই দেশে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আমার যে ডিপার্টমেন্টের চেয়ারম্যান আমাকে বলবে আমি যদি ইন্ডাস্ট্রি থেকে কাউকে আনতে পারি মাঝে মধ্যে স্টুডেন্টদের সাথে তাদের ইন্ডাস্ট্রি নলেজ শেয়ার করার জন্য, আমি এটা দেখেছি স্টুডেন্টরা তারা দে অ্যাপ্রিশিয়েট ইট ভেরি মাচ। বিকজ ইন্ডাস্ট্রি থেকে যারা জব করে তারা যদি টিচিং, ইভেন বাংলাদেশও, আই ক্যান টেল ইউ, লেটস সে একজন যদি সে ব্যাংকে চাকরি করে, ব্যাংকের বহু বছরে তার ব্যাংকে জব অভিজ্ঞতা আছে, সে যদি বা ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটি বা ফাইন্যান্স অথবা ব্যাংকিং ডিপার্টমেন্ট সে পড়াতে যায়, হি ক্যান অ্যাকচুয়ালি টেল লট অফ স্টোরিজ, বাট আই নো বাংলাদেশ দে উইল নট অ্যালাউ ইউ, রাইট? ব্যাংকে যারা জব করে তাদের লট অফ এক্সপিরিয়েন্স, এই এক্সপিরিয়েন্স তারা শেয়ার করা উচিত, কিন্তু বাংলাদেশে যারা টিচার তারা ইন্ডাস্ট্রি জব এক্সপিরিয়েন্স নাই। এবং এই দেশে আমেরিকা কিন্তু যাদের ইন্ডাস্ট্রি এক্সপিরিয়েন্স তারা অ্যাপ্রিশিয়েট করে, কারণ দে নো টুলস অ্যান্ড টেকনোলজিস, রাইট? এই কারণে দ্যাটস ওয়াই I teach in at a quite a few university in this country because I have industry background, industry knowledge. Okay, some in university they don't interview me, just they'll talk to me 5 minutes and they will start, okay, you can teach this class. Okay, so let's talk about decision support system. So এখানে আমি যে জিনিসগুলো দেখাতে যাচ্ছি যে ডেটাবেস কথা বলার আগে,
স্যার আপনার স্লাইডটা চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে না, একটু ইন্টারাপ্ট করার জন্য সরি।
চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে না?
না স্যার।
Okay, that's very surprising তো।
Now it's working.
এটা কি এতক্ষণ হচ্ছিল না তাহলে? ওকে, তাহলে আমি ফুল মোড থেকে সরে আসছি, মোস্ট প্রবলি আমাকে এটা করতে হচ্ছে। আচ্ছা, তাহলে আমরা এই ডেটাবেসে যাওয়ার আগে আমরা করব যে আসলে এই ডেটাটা আসছে কোথা থেকে, কিভাবে আজকে আমরা এই যে ডেটাবেস, ডেটা আমরা এই কথাগুলো বলি, What is the origin? That's what we are going to talk here. So interesting. You'll see decision support system. I share this with my students here also in the US. So you can see information system processing, it existed actually since early 60s. And the story of data warehouse begins with the evolution of information system, right? And data warehousing requires an architecture that begins looking at the whole and then works down to particulars. So data needs to be integrated, and then it need to do some discovery. So in that process, we can see the evolution. The origin of DSS process, it starts back in early days of computers, information system. It actually existed in 1960s. You can go all the way. So evaluation processing consisted 1960s to 80s. And this time actually came Oracle into picture and other thing. And the early 60s, the world of computation consisted of individual applications that ran on using master files. So in 60s, there was no database. Actually, any application they used to run against a master file. I'll show you the picture. And the master files were housed in magnetic tapes, which were good for storing large volume of data cheaply, but drawback was then you had to be accessed sequentially, right? So if I go to next slide, you can see the evaluation, the evolutionary stages. In 1960, you can see all master files. And based on that, they used to run report. And then mid 60s, you can see lots of master files. Now it becomes more complex, complexity, maintenance, development, synchronization of data, hardware, all these things, right? And then in 1970s, a new thing came, DASD, direct access storage device, which is actually came into actually database, a single source of data for all process. So in 60s, those file system to it became actually this direct access device. 70s, you can see high level performance, transaction processing, online transaction processing it means, and then actually 4GL technologies. It's 4GL, it is more like non-procedural language. You can see database SQL or scripting, or you can see web enablement. Those kind of thing came into picture. So next slide, and then he says single database serving all purpose paradigm. So next slide, I'll talk a bit more. So you can see advent of DSD, direct access storage device. So 1970s saw the advent of disk storage, direct access storage. Data could be accessed directly on this. So there is no need to go through those 1, 2, 3 to N to get to N+1 record. So those are file system there. Now you can actually direct access, you can go to the record, right? And then after that, with DSD, direct access storage device, came a new type of system, software known as database management system, DBMS. You will see in database world, this is a popular name, DBMS, database management system, right? And with DBMS came the notion of database. So the software it came, this discovery was direct access storage device. On top of that, they came up with database software. So online transaction processing, it is, you can see the keyword online, it has a meaning. So by the mid 70s, online transaction processing, it's called OLTP. You will hear this word a lot, OLTP, online transaction processing, made even faster access to data. So the online transaction processing is, let's say, I'll go over this. And this opened a whole new direction of business and processing. With that, computer could now be used for driving reservation system, bank teller, manufacturing. So it is like this, যখন a database OLTP এসছে, direct access, then companies, let's say in the US, they actually started business they implemented is reservation system. Let's say the flight booking or anything like that. Or bank teller, আপনি যে ব্যাংকে যান সেখানে যে টেলার সে কিন্তু একটা ডেটাবেসের সাথে হি ইজ ইন্টারেক্টিং। সো অনলাইন ট্রানজাকশন হি ইজ ডুইং অনলাইন ট্রানজাকশন প্রসেসিং। আপনি যখন ব্যাংকে যান সে কিন্তু আপনার সাথে আপনার রেকর্ড রিট্রিভ করছে, সেখানে রেকর্ড রিট্রিভ করছে, সেখানে রেকর্ড আপডেট করতে পারছে, ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং কন্ট্রোল সিস্টেম। সো ডেটাবেস যখন এটা পিকচারে এসছে, অনলাইন ট্রানজাকশন প্রসেসিং মিনস interacting with database, right? All these new opportunities came. And then by mid-80s, new technologies such as PCs and fourth generation language, it came surface like web tool, reporting tool, it came. Because now business, they decided not just interacting with database, now actually they can do more. Fourth generation language came into picture. With PCs and 4GL technology came the notion of more could be done with data, simply rather than simply processing. You go to bank, they retrieve your account, they actually deposit your money, you withdraw it. It's not limited to that. Now you can do, they can do more. They can do web enablement. They can run reports. So it's business. They started thinking all this thing. What you see in Bangladesh, maybe these days in the US, they have implemented long time ago because this is a capitalist society. Capitalist will roll out his capital. He will always try to actually maximize profit. He will try to save his actually decrease cost and improve efficiency. In the US, companies will always run after improving efficiency, actually decreasing, reducing the cost. So এগুলা তখন তাদের কি করছে দা এইসব টুলস এন্ড টেকনোলজি রিসার্চ করা। আপনি দেখবেন গুগল, যে মাইক্রোসফট অ্যাজুর, এগুলো দেখবেন all these thing actually came actually developed in this country USA because here they have lot of research, they have lot of power, lot of motivation, they want to drive down the cost, improve efficiency. That is actually the driver. So data and technology are used exclusively to drive the detailed operational decisions, right? So no single database could serve both operational, transactional processing and analytical. Two keywords I'll tell you. One is operational, another is analytical. So operational is you go to bank. I'm giving back. You go to bank, they retrieve your account, and then actually you either withdraw money or you deposit money. This is operational, right? So your manager actually you need to do this, but there is some analytical processing involved. Your manager also need to see something. So analytical process come here. So they found that the OLTP system, online transactional database, if you try to do both operational activity and analytical activity, then there will be in database, there will be resource contention, competing resource contention. It will be slow. You went to bank, operator teller is not able to retrieve record or do this thing, and it is taking time, and you become very upset, right? So they decided for analytical processing, it also uses resources. They decided, okay, we will move data to somewhere. So we are going to separate operational data and analytical data, so both of them can actually run very efficiently. So we'll talk. Then they decided actually to support, let me go to previous slide again, to support analytical processing, which is different from online transaction processing. They have come up with something that this data needs to be moved from operational database to some other system. So shortly after the advent of OLTP system, a new program came to extract a very harmless, very fine extract processing began, right? Extract processing is done to perform for performance and control. So extract has become for two reasons popular. So the thing, let me tell you here, a lot of things you can read offline. So OLTP is like you go to bank, teller is retrieving your account and you are doing your activities, and this is online transaction processing. And this is helping the teller, bank teller. But at the end of the day or at the end of the week, the bank teller's manager, he want to see actually what happened actually last 1 week or today, last 1 week, or let's say last 1 month. What is the activity happen? They would need to do cycle on cycle analysis. Last month business activities, transaction activities happened this particular bank last month versus current month. So manager, they need to have, or leadership, they need to have those kind of information, right? So you cannot run those kind of thing OLTP system. So they need to actually transfer data to another system, which is called analytical environment, which is called OLAP, online analytical processing, which is data warehouse, which I'm heading to that next slide. So online transaction processing, it is for, let's say, bank teller, but manager needs to see summarized report. Leadership, they need to summarize report. That report should not be run against the operational database because there will be resource contention. So it goes to, so extract process, they came up with data needs to extracted from bank's operational database at the end of the every day. Or let's say in the US, we have companies, let's say we pull it, some cases we pull it every 30 minutes. When it is inventory, we pull it, actually it comes near real time. Within a few seconds, it comes to operational to our data warehouse system, right? Some cases, some business, they say, okay, 4 hours is okay. Retrieve data from operational database every 4 hours and dump into our data warehouse so we can do all the kind of processing and the summarization to actually generate very nice report for company management, right? So these two slides actually talking about it. So let's do a comparison again. Operational database means the database that your bank teller is actually interacting with, operational. And DSS means a data warehouse. That data is actually extracted from operational database, transferred, extracted, and loaded into a data warehouse system, which is called DSS environment, decision support system. So operational, what is the difference between these two? We are saying, yeah, bank teller is on rank transaction processing, the activities happening there, day-to-day transaction, they happening. So bank clerk, it serves his purpose, but of the for manager's purpose, it needs to be data. So in operational database is called application oriented. Maybe you could have customer inquiry database, you will have that customer resource management, all those kind of standalone applications. But when it comes to data warehouse, it actually comes into subject oriented, your customer data, your inventory data, procurement data. So it's no more actually application oriented, it become subject oriented. I'll tell you why. And detail, it is more detailed. Details means in the bank teller, you go to bank teller can retrieve your specific record, right? And but here manager, he doesn't care much specific record unless there is a something very big short, he has some issues, and some manager is more interested in summarization, right? He will see, he will run it against data. And accurate and when the report is created, the person who is generating report needs to be very efficient, because manager will become very impatient that I'm trying to run a company CEO is trying to running report and it taking say 40 seconds, 30 seconds. It's not acceptable. It should run in 3 to 4 seconds, right? So that's why that is the different environment is needed. So accurate and moment of access. Transactional database, it actually very current data, and it actually represents values over time, snapshot. Maybe you can pull data from operational database to data warehouse every 4 hours. So data will be actually as good as actually when you actually last time you pull this data, right? Current value historical data. Data warehouse, it holds not only the current snapshot of data, it holds historical data also. Some cases operational database says, you know, data is older, 5 years old data. We don't want to store it in operational database. We want to store it. It needs to be put somewhere else. So it comes to data warehouse. In industry, they tell us, actually, we are going to delete it. Any data older than 2 years, we are going to delete from our system. We don't need it. Depending on business, you can delete it, but they advise data warehousing team you store it, because business they might need history for 10 years data, and even if they don't have business, always love to see a lot of data, many historical data, but some cases they don't have any reason. Always, if you are a data engineer, you need to ask the business, why do you need so much data and historical data? And they will say they need it, and they will say, you know, audit purposes, legal audit, those kind of things, which is very big, but historical data is here. Serve the clerical community. Like I say, bank teller, it's a clerical, that is managerial community data. So you think again, this is OLTP and this is OLAP. This is operational database, online transaction processing. This is actually data warehouse. Okay, so can be updated, not updated. It is the transaction, you go to bank, your account record is actually value is updated, but here it is not updated. It is it is brought in, it stays that way. Repetitively, activity happens, it is heuristically that discovery purpose. It is performance sensitive. You go to bank, it has to be very efficiently, they should retrieve your information. Performance relaxed, like you don't need to run every day, but you run a report once in a while or weekly, whatever, but that's a separate environment. That could be also performance could be improved. Okay, so transaction driven, analysis driven. This transaction driven, like I said, bank transaction. Here is analysis, high availability. Let me see anything else I need to discuss here. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, so these are discussed actually the previous slide in a table format. I put more description here. I'm going to actually, let me talk here. Data integration in architected environment. So integration of data occurs across architecture. Data passes from operational to data warehouse environment is integrated. There is no point of bringing data over from an operational environment to data warehouse environment without integrating. So it is, what it is telling is that you might have tons of operational database. One is holding your bank activities, one is holding your customer activities, one is holding your employment activities, one is holding your, let's say, procurement, and you'll have different application you have built. Underneath there is a web application, maybe underneath there is a database system, but in the end these data, they need to talk to each other. If you have inventory, that needs to reflect the finance. If you have purchase, that needs to reflect the finance data. If you have sales, that needs to reflect with revenue, finance the revenue, right? So the data is, even though data is stored in operational database, in many databases standalone, but when it comes to data house, it needs to be integrated. They need to talk to each other. There should be, when there is a purchase, it actually hits company's cost center, right? Purchase happens. When there is a sales profit, it hits company's profit center. So that data needs to talk. In a data house, you need to build integrated environment. So, and so that is a very third bullet, very powerful statement. No point in bringing data over to operational environment into data house without integrating it. So there is a big role of data architect in a data house. There must be some architect. If they cannot architect the database nicely, they will be storing bad data, below quality data. User community is not going to use that data. If user finds you are actually inflated amount, implement quantity you are showing, user community lose their confidence. They will actually abandon you. Okay. If data arrives at the data warehouse in an integrated state, it cannot be used to support the corporate view of data, right? Then corporate view means finance, profit, everything, whole corporate view needs to actually, it needs to do. And so that's why it needs architected environment in a data warehouse. So a company might have tons of operational database application, but they have only one data warehouse, which is holding data extracted from many environments. Okay, so user of architected environment, data house user, also so-called DSS analyst, a business person first and foremost, and a technician second. So the primary job of DSS analyst is to define and discover information used in a corporate decision making. So data is coming from many operational database system to data house. Now there should be DSS analyst, there should be data scientists. They need to bring everything, they need to piece together, they need to actually provide a view that actually based on what corporate decision could be made, right? So DSS analyst operates in a mode of discovery. So operational, the bank teller, no discovery. Bank teller, you go there, you give account number, he actually pulls, he does clerical activity. And the DSS analyst, data scientists, they have mode of discovery. Data came from many places. They need to actually mine many gold mining they need to do. Okay. Only on seeing a report or seeing a screen can the DSS analyst begin to explore the possibilities. When data is brought in from tons of operational applications, brought in data house, they see everything, they do a lot of what if analysis, and then they actually discover something, they present it to company management. So what is a data warehouse actually? We are shifting from database to data warehouse. Data warehouse is a very famous definition. It's Bill Inman. He's called the guru. He's called the godfather of data warehouse. He gave a definition. Data warehouse is a subject oriented, which I said, you have to, OLTP, you have individual application name. In data warehouse, you have to have subject area and you need to give. And it has to be integrated. Data should not be standalone. They need to talk to each other. And time variant, that is actually at a certain point in time. And non-volatile means data cannot change. Operational database data might change, but when you bring in data warehouse, you don't change it, right? So give me a second. Actually, my computer, I have a software actually said, it is saying I'm moving mouse too much. Now I need to take 1 minute break. Okay, so go ahead. If you have any question in the meantime, 1 minute, I cannot move my mouse. So far, what I'm talking, is it making sense or it is just going over the head?
No, sir, making sense. And I think এইসব প্রিলিমিনারি আলোচনা আসলে আমাদের নেক্সট ক্লাসের জন্য মানে খুবই ব্যাকআপ হিসেবে কাজ করবে আর কি।
Very good. I think Yeah, you will see a lot of pictures. Maybe you did some YouTube and you think that actually you already know everything, but always remember, my company, at the end of each year, I need my manager will ask me, tell me your three strengths documented, your expertise, and tell me your three improvement areas. Three improvement areas. বাংলাদেশ তো what? আমরা কখনো এটা ভাবি না। আমরা মনে করি I was born in a rich, very good family. Based on that, I have everything. But here we think actually we have lot of things to learn actually. All right. So so implemented in a relational database. So data was implemented in a relational database. So one thing I would like to call out, online transaction processing OLTP, that is actually based off of a relational database. Data warehouse is also a relational database, but it's a separate environment. So data warehousing is actually an online analytical processing. It's called OLAP. It is very popular name, this keyword. A big different definition of those four keywords: subject oriented, data are organized in subjects like procurement, inventory, customer, finance, distribution. Integrated mean data comes from many source system. Like I said, data needs to be unified and aligned. Data types and data length matter, because those small database, someone is doing web development, he might think he's a database developer also. He will come up with the data length and data type the way he thinks. But when it comes to an enterprise data house, it needs to be heavy scrutiny, because those operational database, very two or three people, they have come up with database, they came very weird name, but in database that needs to be standardized. So we need to, someone says this character, this for this field length is, let's say, 20 character, another says 100 character, right? So we need to actually fix those issues. So it integrated means data type lengths also needs to be adjusted across all source systems. So defining it a non-volatile data house needs to maintain a permanent storage. It generally data are imported but not for removal. You cannot delete it. In data house, you can do soft delete. You can actually expire the end date it. Time variant, a data house maintain historical data. Operational database maintain don't database historical data. Current version of data. So a data house, it holds historical data, it holds current version of data, it holds transaction lineage. That's another keyword. It's a different, it has a lot of meaning. Transaction lineage. Let's say you go to bank, you are not happy with just seeing what is my current bank balance. At the end of the month, you want to see actually how my transaction, I ended up with this balance. Throughout the month, how much I deposited, how much I actually withdrawn money from there, right? It's called transaction lineage. Bank is telling you this is what you did. Actually, behind the scenes, so they have done something. So that's why you are able to see all these transaction activities. And periodic snapshot means companies, they want to see, manager might want to see cycle on cycle a comparison, last month activities but versus current month. So let's say last day of July, 31st July, I will take a snapshot from operational database, dump into a data warehouse, and then current month. So I'll be able to compare. It is April versus May versus June. It is periodic snapshot could be taken, and that cannot be changed. And the manager, they can make decision. So here I am showing actually data has architecture. It is typically, this is how data moves. You can see data sources, you can think operational data. You could have many application, front end, this thing. You can even data might source the CSV file also. You can have data from many places, web, CSV file, operational database system, ERP, enterprise resource planning tool. And those data would be extracted via many ETL tools, right? So like based on which environment you are dumping data, they have like this just cloud platform, Azure, they have a lot of tools. Let's say SAP HANA, they have data services. Let's say there are some industry ETL tools also, Evanisio, very robust industry ETL tool. It can extract data from any places, and then it extracts it, puts in data house in a staging area, let's say, and from there actually it goes to permanent area, and from there actually the reporting tool actually they actually run the report. You can see analysis, query, all these things. So this is the environment. So operational database, it's a relational database, and this data house, it's also a relational database. And this is what we are going to talk this class, the database, relational database here, relational database here. Any question here? Okay, so let me see now the adoption factors. all companies do all companies they have data warehouse on top of their beside their operational database? Most probably not. There are companies that decide if they should have actually data warehouse. They are better off with their transactional database. So data warehouse is needed because you have to have expertise, lot of things. You are moving data from operational to data warehouse. So there are certain factors. This is a research, some research findings. They are saying what actually makes a company to adopt a data warehouse, why they cannot actually survive with their operational database. So one is, let's say, relative advantage. Let's say currently you are running report against your operational database, and you might see actually inefficient, you might see does not have all those capabilities. So that might be reason. So there might be relative advantage that is actually compelling you. There might be a compelling story for you to actually create a data house based on relative advantage. The complexity, data house complexity, it needs architecture, it needs a different dedicated people, a lot of people. Do you have enough resources to handle those complexities? That also matters. So innovation technology factors, right? And there are organizational factors, organizational commitment. If big bosses, you don't have the commitment, you cannot do this thing. Absorptive capacity. Do you have enough people actually who can absorb all these kind of technical things, right? Is data storage, lineage, we talked about many things, right? Syncing data between transactional, operational data rows, all the time synchronized. Do you have people, right? Organizational size, actually how many people you have and who are the users, like this. Organizational scope for data warehouse. Does the organization do really need it? So based on all these factors, a company decides whether they're going to have a data warehouse or not. Other than that, a small company, they are just fine with a small personal database, which will serve as their operational database system as well as their OLAP database system data warehouse. I think I shared this before. So this is like the if it is actually company's internal transactional data, it is ERP, enterprise resource planning tool, IBP, integrated business plan, CRM, customer resource, and many other places. Transactional data, go to data warehouse, business intelligence to run. It's been happening for last 3 decades, 4 decades you can think of, right? But now with big data, it is just keeping a Hadoop. It's not going to. There are a lot of cloud platform now, and they are actually extracting different kind of files. They are actually sensor data. They are not necessarily they will be stored in a database system. They will be stored as a file. Microsoft, they have Azure, they have like, what is it called, GenDB2. They actually store it file, not data. So you can, they have come up with tools and technology that will read the file, and you will be running SQL, but behind the scene, actually it is pulling data file, not from database system, right? So those data, the big data, they can be summarized, made some structured, brought into data house. So companies can run a 360 view, not just making decision based on internal transaction data. With outside data, they can actually have a 360 view of their business, right? So they're complementing each other. They're not actually competing against each other. So this is another data as architecture. Again, this is source system, and you have in database data as you bring into a staging layer. From there, you go to layer 1, which is actually a bit transformed, and then you go to a layer 2, which is more shared environment you are creating for many application, and you go to layer 3, you can go to actually build it for some specific application. They have some different needs, right? And on top of everything, there are views. I'll talk about when you define views, actually that is used to read the data from there. And always right hand side, you have reporting tools. Okay, any question? I have another file to share. Let me stop sharing this one.
স্যার এখানে কয়েকটা কনসেপ্ট একটু বুঝতে প্রবলেম হচ্ছে।
Okay, যেমন
তো স্যার মানে স্পেসিফিক্যালি বলতে পারবো না, মানে যখন আপনি স্লাইডস গুলো পড়াচ্ছিলেন তখন মানে
okay,
দেখা যাচ্ছে যে কয়েকটা জিনিস বুঝতে একটু কষ্ট হচ্ছে আর কি
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
একবারে হয়তো।
let's see. Okay, give me a second.
আচ্ছা স্যার, একটু কথা বলি, যেটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা তো আসলে এখানে যেহেতু ডাটা সিস্টেম নিয়ে ক্লাস করতেছি, আমরা প্র্যাকটিক্যালি আমাদের আসলে অনেক কিছু জানার বা করার কথা আর কি। তখন প্র্যাকটিক্যালি ক্লাসটা আসলে আজকে তো মনে হয় প্র্যাকটিক্যাল হবে না, নেক্সট ক্লাস থেকে কি আমাদের প্র্যাকটিক্যাল হবে
হ্যাঁ,
কিনা?
প্র্যাকটিক্যাল হবে, এবং বি প্রিপেয়ার্ড ফর দ্যাট।
সরি,
Yes, there will be, and be prepared for that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so let me see anywhere, somewhere where, let me see anywhere. Yeah, actually, tell me, I'll go very fast. Which one you are talking about? See if you can figure out anything. Architecture environment, I said. Or you tell me if I go to back any other back slide, I can actually discuss.
স্যার 17 নম্বর স্লাইডের সেকেন্ড পয়েন্টটা একটু একবার বলে ভালো হয়।
Okay, 17 number slide. This is slide number 17. The primary job of data analysis is to define and discover information used in.
স্যার এটা না, সরি, মেবি পরেরটা, মানে
Okay,
ইন্টিগ্রেশনের একটা কথা ছিল আর কি।
এটা
I'm not
this one.
sure পয়েন্ট নাম্বার স্লাইড স্যার এরকম
আচ্ছা।
ছিল যে যেটা ওয়্যারহাউস আর হচ্ছে
Oh, I see.
আর্টিফিশিয়াল মধ্যে যাতে ইন্টিগ্রেশনের প্রয়োজন।
Hey, this one you're talking.
স্যার একটু প্রিভিয়াসলি গেলে মনে হয় ভালো হয়।
Mhm. Integration to most probably we talked here.
জি স্যার, এইটা থার্ড নাম্বার।
If that one, there is no point in bringing data over from operational environment into the data warehouse environment without integrating it, right? So, বলা হচ্ছে operational database, you will have, a company might have multiple operational database system, right? Customer, like says inventory, purchase, like all those data will be in standing in operational database standalone. But when you architect it, you need to, in data house, you need to have a good data modeling. Good data modeling, let's say record wise, the purchase versus finance, how they are related. That relationship needs to be drawn in terms of the tables, between tables. Relationship needs to, so that's why it is called the integrated, integrate. You need to have some integration. That when you bring it, you need to have an overall picture. Customer data I'm bringing, why, what is the reason, and this customer data is going to be related with what other subject areas, right? Or let's say the company যখন ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল রিপোর্ট তারা করে, সেখানে তাদের ফাইন্যান্স ডাটার সাথে এটা, it involves company currency, it involves the customer, it involves the location, which area the business is, which area, the, let's say purchase, let's say sales, which area in India, in Asian region, or Europe, or America. So when this data is brought in all from these places, the data model needs to be done such a way that there is a relationship could be drawn between these subject areas. Finance versus the customer, finance versus, let's say, inventory or purchase. The relationship needs to be done. That needs to be, data architect needs to have that in mind. Okay, a robust actually data has, whoever maintains a data has, they have a logical, physical, conceptual, logical, physical model. All this, they actually, they have a blueprint actually where data is coming and how to actually they integrate data, connect with another set of data on another domain area, another area they are connecting data with. Does it make sense?
জি স্যার, বুঝতে পেরেছি।
Anything else?
স্যার আরেকটা কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল।
Yes.
স্যার আমরা যেহেতু ডেটা বেস নিয়ে পড়ছি, তাহলে ডেটা টাইপ, যেহেতু আমাদের ডেটাই হ্যান্ডেল করতে হবে, তাহলে কি স্যার ডেটা টাইপ গুলো এবং ডেটার যত ভ্যারিয়েশন আছে এগুলো জানাটা কি স্যার আমাদের জন্য ইম্পর্টেন্ট না?
Of course, yes, we'll talk about it. Okay, so let me go to slide another one. Let me share. Okay, so okay, am I sharing? You can see it, right, Carol?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, very good. Okay, so now we start, let's talk about database design. Here we will talk intro and conceptual data model. So remember, you might, how many database you might think running SQL, but SQL is far, very last step, most probably. Before that, you need to do a lot of other things. So tell me, how many, any database software you have used? If you have used any database software, do you have any experience using any database software actually? Those who have used it, those who work in industry, you can actually uh, share your anyone has used any database system, those who work in industry. Okay, MySQL. Let's see who else is. I'm looking at chat box. Please put a chat box. What databases you have, software you have used so far? MySQL. Anybody else? I thought some of you may have SAP HANA. Okay, so that means you have in-memory database experience. And SPSS. SPSS is just an application. Okay, I see. So far, I see actually SAP HANA and MySQL. Okay. Just checking. I don't expect actually all of you have actually that database, the experience, you know it, because that's the purpose of this class, right? You don't know it. This is the time for you to know it. Oracle, right? Just curious, actually, so far who else use databases and what database software you have used, right? And also, do you, all of you actually, you take advantage of database system in your daily activities? Can you give me any business example, that any real world example you can give, that actually behind the scene actually you are taking advantage of a relational database system? Any example you can put in the chat box. Real world business, anything you use some application actually that has a database system underneath. No one can make any comment that you actually, you end up actually using a database system. I am giving you just clue. Yeah, I said that bank example I gave 100 times maybe. You go to bank, the teller is actually retrieving your information, but actually there is a his computer, but he's connected to a database system. His application is connected to a database system. So in your daily life, actually, you are taking advantage of a database system. You remember long time ago when you didn't have this thing, the bank, you go to bank, they check the ledger account, the large ledger book. Sometimes they make mistake also, right? Now actually it is in database system. So you go to bank. In fact, actually, the teller, he's using a database system, and you are taking advantage of it very quickly. They can provide you information. You go to, let's say, a vehicle management system. Yeah, there is a database system there. Let's say you go to a grocery store. Bangladesh, I don't know if you have it like a checkout system, right? You go to bank, the grocery store. Here in this, we check out. Actually, they scan my product. Everything they scan it. In the US, actually now these days, actually this grocery store, they even do not have any person to actually scan it. Self checkout, actually, we just scan it, and behind the scene there is a database system, right? Super shop, I see the yeah. Then university management system, yeah, some database is there. So let's say you go to doctor's appointment. Doctors, they have automated the front, the receptionist, she's interacting with, he or she's interacting with the database system. So these days you go to online shopping, you go to, let's say, e-commerce, to Amazon, right? You place an order, definitely you are actually interacting with the database. They store it. You use some web application, there must be some underneath, there must be some database system. So you are taking all of your daily activities. The more you are staying on device, you would think something is there, they're storing data, right? Okay, so so what is a database, you think? What is your actually that is layman's thing? What is meant by database? Anybody can tell me, those who have used any database, and what is a database? What's the definition of it? So, okay, so database is, what is a database? Database, let me go to the next slide. I'm sharing the slide now. So what is a database? It's an organized collection of related information, organized collection of related information. See, organized and related. So database, so what? Database, it could be a one big table. We can think, actually, I cannot actually, let me, those of you have not used database at all, let me stop sharing. I will take you to another place. Give me a second. Okay, stop sharing. Before I am assuming all of you have used actually Excel file, right? Please tell me if any of you have not used the Excel data file. Let me open a data file. Okay. Okay. I am sharing a advertising the data. It is retrieved from some machine learning repositories called Kaggle site. Okay. So if you see, all of you have used Excel file. I cannot believe if any of you say you have not used Excel file. You have used it, right? So far, let's say those of you who have not used database at all, you might think, what is actually database? What is a table actually database, right? So let's say think of it like this. Like I am highlighting this. Let's say this is a table. So let's say this is a database table. In Excel, you have like in the box, you say I have put it bottom, you can see Kaggle advertising. Let's say this is your table name, right? Kaggle advertising, let's say table name. Or just set advertising table name. And in a table name, you have data this way. In Excel, you see this thing. You are very familiar, right? You can think of this is a database table, right?
Sir, all are requesting you to speak in Bangla, for it will be greatly communicative, because fast English sometimes they are missing the connection.
Okay, so you need to actually you need to get used to it. This is internet. You sitting in a rural Bangladeshi village, you do web surfing maybe more than I do here in the US, right?
Sir, you can continue, sir.
Yeah.
You can continue in English.
Right. Maybe you are in a rural Bangladesh. Now it's a global village. Try to, yeah, if I am very fast, please tell me. I will go slow, right? Okay. So let's say let's say this is a database table. Think of it. You are familiar with Excel, I'm telling you, right? So to open this file, first off, to open this file, you actually double click on the Excel file and you see this data. Or you right click on the Excel file and you see this data. But unfortunately, in a database, you cannot actually double click on a table. You cannot actually right click and open it. You cannot do it. To see data from a database table, you have to write SQL. You have to write SQL with me. So again, Excel data pool, to see Excel data, you have to double click on the file. Your other option is you right click on it, you open the file, you see data. And in a database, you don't have that luxury. You have to write a SQL. So that is one point. Other thing is how a database data look. You think I highlighted in yellow, actually this is your, let's say this, think of it, this is a database table. What does it mean? A database table it's a two-dimensional structure, two-dimensional, like is Excel, it's a two-dimensional, right? It has rows, it has columns, right? So you think actually this is a table, and this is the data we store. Now, with this advertising data, we have, let's say, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Now, we can have company might have tons of these fields, tons of thousands of this field. What do? Do you put in Excel file actually A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, all this time you put it, then keep going, like right, keep going it, and everywhere you put it, all those columns. So then it is going to be inefficient. And if you put in another box, you won't be able to connect between them. Let's say if I go here, you put it here, and one data set is another data connection, it is not going to data scalable. And also, Excel most probably these days they allow 1 million record. You cannot go beyond that. Companies that have millions of billions of records. So you think in a database, this is a database table. Think of it like this. Okay, with that, I'm going to, I'll stop sharing here. I'll continue those slides again. So the problem is if I start talking Bangla, then what happens when I start teaching in this country and I will start talking Bangla in between, you know? So that is human, it might come that way also. So must try to this. English is today's world, actually, it is becoming very common. There are mushrooms of English school in Bangladesh here and there, right? Okay, so let's say it's a database.
স্যার একটা কথা বলতে যাচ্ছিলাম যে আসলে এই কনসেপ্ট গুলো তো আমাদের জন্য মানে এখানে যারা আছে অনেকের জন্য অনেক নতুন, তো যদি পসিবল হতো যে বাংলা একটু যদি কন্টিনিউ করা যায় শুরুর দিকের একটা দুটো ক্লাস, বা আমাদের জন্য একটু মানে ধরে ফেললে তারপর হয়তো বা অতটা টাফ হতো না।
কনসেপ্টটা ইংরেজিতে বাংলা বললো সে একই হবে আর কি, এবং এগুলো অনেকগুলো ই করে আইসোলেশন স্টেবল। It is just very few keywords. Just try to remember.
স্যার আমি একটু বলতে চাচ্ছি স্যার বাট ওনারা যেটা বলতেছেন ইংলিশে বললে প্রবলেম। আপনি যদি ভালো মানের ইউটিউব ভিডিও দেখতে চান আপনাকে ইংলিশটাই ফলো করতে হবে, বাংলাতে ভালো মানের ভিডিও পাবেন না।
Right. So try to follow, but I'll try. Okay, one thing I think, who is actually asking the question? Actually, the thing is, you need to do some research also. So just the keyword I'm telling, the class you'll be doing some offline. This is the first time I tell you. First time I come to this country, I take these classes. Many keywords actually new to me. This is your learning opportunity, right? So many keywords you can do Google search. These days you don't need to even buy book. You can do search Google. You can get familiar. I'll actually connect with another online tool, so you'll be able to become familiar with that. But yeah, please ventilate your concerned questions. I'll talk about it. Right, and we'll give you some documentation. Again, you think you come from Bangladesh to here USA, what are you going to do? Are you going to ask me to speak in Bangla? Just think about this way, right? So yeah, you'll, and even the database Oracle is not going to write something in Bangla, you'll write in English, right? So, and report everything is like this. So relational database is the organized collection of related information. So one thing is, now the question is, in a relation database, do we build one table or many tables? Think of it this way, from this. Let's say we can think actually we want to see only one big table, or instead of many table in a database. If we want to create one big table, it will hold all company information. Maybe I will end up with millions of records. I will end up with thousands of columns. What is the consequence? If we do it in isolationist table, one big table, what is the issue with that? So we can think of creating one big table, not more than one table. We can think of relational tables, many tables working together. So two options. One is in a database, one big table, or many working tables together, they'll work together. But in real world, we never actually build a database with only one table. But to explain you, I'm telling why we need many tables, why we cannot survive with one big table. So there is a reason. Let's go to the next slide. Why creating multiple tables? A single large table is difficult to maintain because you have hundreds, thousands of columns. Where do you get data from to actually populate all those columns in one table? It's when your batch job will be running. Even if you try to do it yourself, you are assigned to do this. You are working for a company. You think I'm going to create one table with Excel file. Do this exercise. You'll see you'll not be able to actually populate all fields. Difficult to maintain because data quality concern. Inefficient and error prone. It is not efficient. You'll be storing lot of. If you build one table only, it will be building tons of redundant data. We will talk about it. And data is inefficiently stored. Inefficiently, right? You can store it, you won't be able to retrieve it many cases, right? Because you don't know where it is, right? So the thing is, we have to actually option the single large table. It is not an option. Real world, always you need to have many tables. Now, let's say initially you thought I have created a table with 5,000 columns. Now, how do you split it? Because of inefficiency, you cannot hold this. Let's say you just 5,000 columns, you divide it, let's say by 50, and you come up with 100 tables. And it's not just splitting a large table randomly. You need to follow some rule. Even if you created initially a 5,000 column table, and now you found that actually it is not working, I need to split it. How do you split it? Just split randomly, if 20 columns each table or 50 columns each table, I come up with 100 tables? No, you won't be able to actually relate data. So you need to have a multiple tables. Why it is needed? It's easier to use, easier to manage, and more flexible. So again, splitting a 5,000 column table into one, that needs to follow certain rules. If you don't follow rule, you will not be able to connect between tables. Relational database, you cannot do that. So here is next slide. Here is an example. I'll give you a glimpse of actually how a database system looks. I'm giving just a two table example, just so you can actually, relational database I'm declaring, but actually two tables. So you should be able to it is a small set of data. Say it's a patient table, it's a visit table. So patient table, you can see it has actually what information, patient ID. If you go to very good, the doctor's office in Bangladesh, I hope they have automated also, they will assign you a patient ID. This is your patient ID, and they will put your first name, last name, phone number, and many things, maybe your date of birth, whatever it is, right? So this is your information. But then after you first time you go to doctor's office, they will collect you this preliminary information. Or even you try to buy something from Amazon.com, first time you have to open an account. Account opening means they will collect your basic information, and then you will start actually purchasing. So doctor's office, they will first day you go, they will open an account for you. They will give you, hey, this is your patient ID. And after that, you keep going to doctor's office. You can see visit ID. So there is a visit ID. Every time you go, they actually store information, visit date and reason, right? Do you see actually, this is a patient table, this is a visit table. And you can see the patient table, you can see it is a primary key. Patient table, the record identifier, unique record identifier is patient ID. You can see they are unique. So this is patient information. And then in visit table, it is a identifier, unique identifier. You can see there is no overlapping. Visit table, visit ID is a unique record, unique identifier, right? Now the question is, how do we connect between these two tables? They are standalone. Like I said, in a database, tables, they cannot stay standalone. They have to have connection between two, between one another, right? So if we think of this small example between two tables, we need to be creative to actually make some connection between two. So we are bringing actually this patient ID, we are bringing into here, and we are saying actually now we have connection. So that means if you look at this patient ID, this 529, Robert Goldberg, he has this phone number. How many times he visited? He visited actually this date, right? 1610, you can see his visit ID, this patient ID, his visit ID, his patient ID, right? So he visited that twice. That's now we are making some connection. So you can see this is a primary key. We on purpose brought in this primary key into visit table, and when we bring it here, we say it is actually foreign key because it brought in from somewhere. They gave the very nice name, foreign key, right? So whenever you bring a column from one table to another, we call it actually it's a foreign key. Why do you need this thing? Because we have to make some relation. Why need relationship? Because if you don't make relationship, we will not be able to make connection between tables. And other thing, in a relational database, table cannot stay standalone. They need to talk to each other. Very rarely in a database, a table will be sitting standalone. It needs to have some connection with. Sometimes lookup table we might have, but they need to have some connection, right? So now let's think of it this way. We are talking about one table. We said one table inefficient. We need more than one table. So here is an example of two table at least. And now let's think of it. If I can we actually maintain this information into one table instead of two tables? Can we have this in one table? We can. So let's say this visit patient ID, you can see here 529. I can put actually his first name, last name, and phone number here next to here, right hand side. I'm hovering mouse. Let me know if you cannot see it. We can add here this table, another 3 column, first name, last name, phone number, and we put all the patient, their information, and we can delete this table, right? We maintain one table only, which is visit table. It will have patient, first name, last name, phone number also. If we do that, what is the consequence? What is the consequence we are actually facing? Instead of maintaining 2 tables, if we merge patient data into visit table, what do we see the inefficiency? Can you imagine? Anyone? You need to talk. You need to. Huh?
Sir, I want to say that it would be difficult for someone to apply his query for any specific data. মানে কোন স্পেসিফিক ডাটা পাই তার হচ্ছে মানে কষ্ট করতে হবে বেশি।
Acha, you can speak Bangla also. So, but the thing is, that is you can query. But the thing is, more importantly, I am actually driving you to data modeling. So let's say here it is. Let's say this patient 529. You can, if you he actually so far visited twice. If we put first name, last name, and phone number here, I have to actually have his first name twice. Here his first name, last name, phone number. Here it is first name, last. It's redundant. I'm storing same data twice, and he keeps visiting this doctor's office 100 times. I'll be storing his first name, last name, phone number 100 times, isn't it? Do you realize what I'm saying? Are you following what I'm saying? If you delete the patient table, you add 3 more columns here in visit tables, and every time a patient comes visit, you have to store his patient ID, phone number, all these things, first name, last name. So that means you will be storing lots of data, which is redundant, inefficient. You are storing in a database inefficiently, right? That the data modeling job is you cannot make redundancy. You need to be efficient. Yeah, there is a lot of other thing, right? So we cannot. Here I'm giving an example. If I put the first name, last name, right hand side, for this patient ID 22529, I have to store his first name, last names here against first record in visit table. I have to store it again. So that means same record information I am storing twice, but we are better off here storing only once, right? Only thing is we are doing just we actually imported patient ID from here to here. Now we can draw connection, and between this we can write a SQL. Select from patient table, patient's first name, last name, and this phone number, and join between the 2 tables using patient ID and pull his visit date and region. I can pull everything. So I am putting in 2 different tables, but making connection, I can retrieve data from both tables. Any question here? I'll give you a pause. If you are not following, ask me question. You let me know. And again, if you're not following, you can send me email. I want to make sure you're successful. This is your opportunity. Actually, I know many of you may be doing internet surfing a lot, but this is your opportunity in a kind of academic setting, what we follow here also. And by the way, remember, in America, students, they don't go to college just to learn something, to say this name, John Wilson MBA, or this. They don't go for this title. In this country, they go to school to learn something they can apply real world. So always remember that. You might think I'm talking too much theoretical. Actually, it has practical implication also. If you don't know this kind of thing, you will not be able to build a database. You are aspiring to be a data scientist. You have many roles to play. So you need to know this thing. So now think of it. A database may have many tables. You have to draw a relationship and make sure there is no redundancy. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, building the conceptual model. Now we are saying actually how we have to follow some data modeling. The first step is conceptual model, a high-level business data. Facilitates communication. What is a conceptual model? Facilitates communication between business and IT. How to get business value. Business, they care business value. They don't care less about it, your IT job. So business value and corporate business concept and core business concept. So when you build a table, IT people, you are building a data model, and let's say, or you maybe one of your enterprise, you're trying to open a small business. Very first thing you want to say, okay, this is I cannot maintain those ledger book anymore. I have to store data in a computer, right? And then you have to come up with actually database, data modeling. Actually, what kind of data I need? So conceptual model is actually first you need to think at the very high level. What do you need? What kind of data you restaurant business? You need to have actually, you need to buy the raw material. You need to hire the employee. You need to create the products and the menu, their pricing, everything you need to store, right? So you would think actually high level, you'll say, here I give you high level business and data points like location, the customer information into product information, employee information, right? You will think, you read the business scenario, business problem, and then you think actually, so let's say you are an IT consultant, someone came to you, hey, I want to open a business, I need to, you'll be asking question, what kind of data, this, and you will think, okay, high level, you need to actually have this kind of data, right? And then you need to do modeling, right? So based on this kind of information, you will build a conceptual model. Conceptual model is actually as if it is not very detailed, as if you are looking at something from a high altitude, let's say 30,000 feet altitude, let's say from an airplane. From an airplane, you cannot see actually the ground, you cannot see everything, but you can see an overview, right? So conceptual model is like that, it's not detailed. Actually, next slide. So in a conceptual model, what do you do actually? Conceptual model, it consists of entities and attributes. Next slide, I'll talk about it, entities. So what is an entity? Entity is something about which you store data. Let's say you are a student. If you are university, they care about, someone says university information system. If you are a student, university will care, they need to build a student table that will be holding student information. If you go to school, they will give you student ID, and against that student ID, they will be storing your other information like your first name, last name, date of birth, email, everything, right? So entity is something about we store data. What is an entity? Entity actually describes the characteristics of something. If it is a student, it describes his first name, last name, his phone number, his the degree program, or anything like those kind of information. Entity should describe whatever you put inside an entity. It should describe that entity. Customer is an entity. Order is an entity. So entities are not necessarily tangible. That's a concert or visit, doctor's office. Let's say doctor's visit. We said patient, or let's say the visit is not actually person, right? It's is something non-tangible, right? So attributes are the descriptions or characteristics of an entity. So attribute, what is attribute? We talked about customer, student, there's the courses, entity, right? University system, they will have entity like student, they will have entity like course, they would entity like faculty, right? Those entity. And then inside entity, there will be attributes. Attributes are the descriptions or characteristics of an entity. Let's say, what is it? Like customer first name. See, this is attribute will be holding customer first name information. Another attribute will be holding last name, address, right? There are so many things, right? Let's go to the next slide. So we are talking about actually this entity again, previous slide. We are talking about this entity. We are, okay, let me come here actually. We are talking about entities, let's say patient table. Patient is an entity. Let's say visit is an entity, and attributes are patient ID, first name, last name. These are attributes, you think. Patient is entity and this. So now we are actually, I'm showing you this picture, right? We need to actually store this entity name and attribute name somewhere. We need to store it. Not data, I'm not talking about data. I am talking about a blueprint. I am talking, let's say on a piece of paper, you'll be doing even on a piece of paper, you need to say, let me draw it. If you're a civil engineer, you do certain thing, right? On a piece of paper, you'll say, this is my table and this is my column, right? You need to document it. How do you document it? To document it, actually, you will need to documenting entity. You need to document it. What do you document? Document your entity and attributes. We have industry they call ERD, entity relationship diagram. There are some industry tools that are surfacing on the market. That entity relationship diagram tool is used to actually store the entity name, their attribute name, and draw their relationship. It is not going to store any data. It will be storing the object name. So Entity relationship diagram, there are three models industry. There are chain model, cross-fit diagram, and unified model. For our class, we are going to use cross-fit diagram, which you'll be building using either Microsoft Visio or Lucid Chart, or if you have ER Studio, you can do that also, right? So entity, someone asked, oh, what is Lucid Chart? Why do you need this? Is it becoming very theoretical? No, it is actually, if you join a company, if you are a data architect, they will say, do you know any data modeling tool? You said no. So that's a problem. You have to learn it, right? So it is the entity and attribute storing relationship draw. It is a tool. So in the ERD, it is popular name ERD, entity relationship diagram, right? So what do you store actually? Now you give me a thing. So data modeling, we talked about a little bit. In your data modeling, we said one big table, we have to split it. And split it how? We have to follow certain rule. First, we actually come up with a conceptual model. And then conceptual model, we actually go to make it a logical model. And then logical model will be a physical model. With me? And then physical model is something you will be able to implement in a database, ready to store data. Okay. Okay. So now we are saying in a database that we are thinking of actually creating many tables, not one. So we have to have some relationship, right? There are three kinds of relationship exist: one to one, one to many, many to many. You can see. So let's say department and manager. There is a relationship. I am putting something that you can actually understand. It is not the very difficult thing. Like say you work for a company. There is a department. Let's say IT department, marketing department, and let's say manager, right? So IT department may have. Let's read it. We are talking this time relationship. An IT department, let's say a department, let's say IT department or marketing department may have one and only one manager. When you say one and only one, right? One means only one or more. So one and only one manager. So does it make from real world sense? A department may have one and one manager. So I am reading it. So I'm talking about this. When I read it from left to right, I'm saying a department may have one and only one manager, right? And on the other hand, when I read it from right to left, a manager may manage one and only one department. So this is actually cardinality, and this is actually modality, right? So a department, again, we are anytime you have data, you have came up with customer, student, this and that, right? Now you need to think, how do actually I make the relationship? You remember patient and visit table, we try to be creative. We can see actually we need to have some relationship. What kind of relationship? Now you document it. What kind of relationship it is? The patient and visit table, that was a one-to-many relationship. In modeling world, there are three types of relationship. One is this, one is this, one is this. So this one is a department when the scenario, you will interrogate data from one side to another. A department may have one and only one manager. That time you will say double bar. Double bar is very important. And a manager may manage one and only one department. Okay, so let's read it. The membership and customer. Let's say you are a Dhaka club member. I don't know Dhaka club. Yeah. So let's say you are a Dhaka club member. Dhaka club, they have, let's say, membership, platinum, gold, bronze, silver, right? Membership, right? So a membership, if you have a membership may be subscribed by one or more customer. You have a let's say Dhaka club member, right? Or any club, you might think more than I know. So any membership, you might have a gold membership. Gold membership, many people might have gold membership. So we would think those people, let's say customer. A membership, gold membership may be subscribed by one or more customer. This bar is one. This is modality. You can say 0 or 1. This could be 0 or 1. So a membership might be subscribed by one, this bar is 1 or many customers. So this is the thing we put it here. Okay. Okay, so one more customer. So the thing. On the other hand, let's read it from right to left. A customer may have one and only one membership. Like they have membership category: blonde, bronze, sorry, gold, bronze, silver, bronze, right? So a customer cannot have like two membership. So we know it is obvious. A customer should have only one membership. It could be gold, it could be bronze, it could be platinum, it could be silver, right? So that one is obvious. We are saying one and only one membership, right? Whenever it is many, and it is actually the customer is you have to put the cross feed. This is cross feed. Okay, so many side. And let's read this third one. A training might be, you work for a company, join a company first time, they might have many training, especially in the US. The first time you join, they will assign you many training you need to attend before you start your work. So a particular training may be needed by one or many employees, which is true. A training might, if a company makes it mandatory, you join company, you have to take at least 3 training. So that means a particular training may be needed, all employees needed. So a particular training may be needed by one or more employees. So it is one or more, right? And on the other hand, you read from right to left. An employee may need one or more training, because some company might say actually only one training is fine, but some company might say I have 3 trainings you have to attend, right? Or even for your professional development, you might want to go to somewhere to the attend the training, right? So an employee may need one or more training. When it is one or more, then you have to put the cross feed. So again, this is cardinality notation, and this is modality. Modality could be always 0 or more. Some employee might say, I don't need any training. Let's say, if we think the business is like this, for certain employees, there is no training needed. Well, let's think this way. For certain people, there is some company might think, we might have some employee, they might not need any training. At that point, you cannot enforce this one or many. You could say 0. This could be either 0 or 1. If you think, yeah, all employees, they need at least one training, then you have to force it like this, one or many. On the other hand, if you think that some company thinks some employees, they don't need training, then you can say 0 or more training. Then you are saying some company might not have a training needed, right? So always the conceptual model that we will be building, I am actually at the end of this, my presentation, then I will give you an assignment, which you can do offline and submit it, right? So your thing will be, I'll giving you some data, you will be actually coming up with some entities. And first your job is to come up with some entities, and then you draw the relationship, interrogate each entity with other entities to see if there is any practically making sense to make any relationship, right? So that is what you're going to do. So first day assignment, you will come up with entities like this, and once you come up with drop certain entities, and then you say, okay, I'm going to build this. So remember, you need to have this bar. This is very important, double bar, like this. The assignment I'm giving, I'll be very particular about this. Okay, so let me see. So we have actually spent 2 hours already, right? Okay, this is last slide. One-to-one relationship. Let me read it again. One-to-one relationship. This one is one-to-one relationship. This one is one-to-one relationship. This one is one-to-many. This is many-to-many. In a conceptual model, you can do any of this. These are fine. All these you can say. One-to-one relationship. One record in a table is associated with one and only one record in another table. One-to-many. One record in a table can be associated with one or more records in a table. By the way, you can actually browse internet also. You'll see this definition. Relational database and many-to-many relationship. Relational database systems usually don't allow you to implement a direct many-to-many relationship between two jobs. So in a data modeling conceptual model, you can have all this modeling, you can have all this. But when it comes to logical and physical, you cannot have this many to many. You have to break it. I'll tell you next slide, next session, how it needs to be done, right? So this is like this, and let me share let me stop sharing. I'm going to share another document. Almost there. Okay, I'm sharing a spreadsheet. Let me know you can see it. So here I am actually putting some background information. Khairul, can you see my screenshot or anybody can tell me? Are you able to see it? Okay, good,
Yes, we can see.
good. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to share. You can see 3 tabs: background, data 1, data 2. Background is a small business wants to automate its data management system. The data provided to you in a spreadsheet file represent the current data they are storing outside of a database, maybe Excel file. The company needs your help to organize their data so that they can manage it more efficiently to grow their business. Note, this is just one area of their business. A company just a small set. And you are required to do the following: develop a conceptual data model. And there is a how to build using Microsoft Visio, how to draw the conceptual model. You can actually watch this YouTube video. If I find time, I'll share you also. I'll hands-on, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so the data is data 1, you can see. I'm putting some information here: 1 employee, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 employee. I'm putting his information. Employee 1, has the phone number, his address, his hire date. He needs actually equipment. He needs notebook, computer. He's hiring. His functional business area department is production. He needs 2 training actually. One is code of conduct training, safety training, right? This guy, he needs 2 computer equipment. He's like notebook and computer monitor. He belongs to research and development, and his training needs are code of conduct training, introduction to Python training, machine learning, right? So these are the employee. They are actually is like this employee information about this. But you cannot put all this in a one table, because code of conduct training and functional, they cannot belong to the employee table. If you think this employee table, you cannot store this in employee table. You have to be creative. So there are related information here. In here, I'm giving more information. Here I'm talking about functional business unit. You can see research and development. 10 departments I have put it here. Equipment needs. Company decided its employees might need. These are the equipment they need. So in employee information, employee table, I have provided which employee needs which information, which equipment. Training, this I have in company, they have like, these are the trainings they offer for their employees, right? And though you need to actually, you think, let's say, think of this an entity, right? Here training needs are these, and we are here, I'm providing for each training actually who are the trainers. For let's say the very first one, COVID-19 awareness and production training, James Smith, Johnny Core, 2 trainer for this. So this one is, you will store only trainer information, not training name, because training name I borrowed it from here. Then safety training, only 1 person. Some cases I provided also actually just first name. I didn't provide the last name. First name and last name, Mary Garcia. But here I put the first name Vanessa, last name is missing. So it is, all these are done on purpose. So you know it, right? And I have put some note. So by the way, to build your conceptual model, you don't need all information. But because you will be using the same data over and over to build your logical model, to build your physical model. So to build a conceptual model, you need to come up with entity, you need to come up with attribute, and you need to draw the relationship. That is it. I'll show you an example of entity relationship. So there are some note I put, more than one. This might be for logical physical model, but just read. There are certain notes, certain condition I have put it are here, right? They're put here. So based on that, you will develop the model. I'm giving an example how a model will look. Let me share with you. Uh, am I sharing?
Not, and now it's working.
Do you see it?
Yeah, we can see.
I have created it using, actually, I am looking for a conceptual model you build like this. First, I drag and drop, actually created some entity. Then I said, I try to see how they're one to one or one to many. So I am looking for you. You'll be submitting an assignment. Just you'll draw this assignment, this model, and then you'll actually go to your snippet tool. You just take a screenshot, dump into your Word document or wherever. You don't need to save the file, the Microsoft Visio file. Just take a screenshot, put in a Word document, or make it PDF file. So here I have put this thing, right? So how do I create this entity? Let me show you. Here you can see the entity. I'm just dragging and I make it drag and drop. See, it is different, right? I am going to make it, let's say I don't need this actually. Let me see. First time I don't need this. Let me delete it. Cut. I'm doing it cut. And then I'm going to cut this also. This time I just care about the entity name. My bad. Okay, so let's say I'm saying, let's say employee, right? This time I'll be able to cut it. So I have this. See, I have created an employee like this. I just drag and drop from here and I do this and I remove a redundant thing because for my conceptual, I don't need any attribute because it's attribute. Later, I need to add attributes. I'll do this. For conceptual model, you need only entity name and the relationship, no attributes to make it very clear. Then I have to create other entities, right? You can be lazy also. Control C and then you do Control V. You come up with another entity, right? Say you can Control V, you can, right? Now you can see actually, let me see. I'm going to say, let's say course. Let's say employee, department, you can say, right? So this type of entity, first you come up with, based on the Excel data I'm providing, how many entities you need, and then you need to actually draw the relationship, okay? And I have one more document to share with you. Okay, so there is a rubric. In the US, teachers, they actually send rubrics that actually, when they grade, they look for actually what they need to actually, they will be grading against what. There are certain things, identified an appropriate first entity and represented it accurately in the diagram by drawing the relationship with associated entities. So here you will see all the description here, right? All the how actually what I'll be looking for when I do this thing. Actually, let me share the assignment. That is, I think, important part we need to share, right? So okay, I am going to share this. Khairul, am I sharing?
Not still. Now it's
Okay, so you can see assignment, right? Okay, this is the kind of assignment actually I actually send it to my student here in the class. Again, you remember you come to America to do a degree, you will encounter this thing, right? So the course name is DS 510 database system, week 1, week of this starting week, next Saturday it is due assignment. The topic is database design. Assignment, you need to put all the information. You can create PDF file or this. Your file name should reflect your course name, week number, and last name. And there are assignment 2 part. One is what I want you is you watch this YouTube video. It tells you conceptual model, why conceptual. I was giving you briefly. It tells you why a conceptual data model is needed, how it looks. The title is Conceptual Data Models, How to Get Attention of Business Users. You are an IT guy, you are trying to do model, conceptual model, you need to sell it to business. So what you need to actually do the pitching, right? So you watch this video, very good one. Watch this and you write a single spaced 1-page summary of the learnings from the below YouTube video. Last paragraph you write up should list at least 5 key takeaways. What did you learn actually from this? And the second part assignment, so this is 50 point. Part 2 assignment is I put the Excel file, whatever I put, and I have put, you can put Lucidchart or Visio, and you will be actually creating the based on Excel data, and you will be creating a data model, which I showed. And then feel free to watch this video. This video actually how to create. And when you do the relationship, like I said, your relationship should be one and only one or many, this kind of thing, right? So cardinality and ordinality very important. So this is all about this, what you need to do assignment, and you will have until next Saturday before need to submit it before you join the class next week with me. Please let me know if you have any question. If you find it actually interesting, challenging, please feel free to connect with me. This is your opportunity actually to learn. And again, just think of it, you have come to US, and if you do this class, 80 class, you learn it, I can tell you, you'll be just fine in a database class if you come here and do a master degree or bachelor degree, whatever, right?
স্যার একটা কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল, এটা আসলে কিউজিপি থেকে জিজ্ঞেস করা, যে DS510 যে কোর্সটা, এটা স্যার আপনি কোন ইউনিভার্সিটিতে শেখান ইউএসএ তে?
না, এটা এই কোর্স নেইমের নাম্বার আমি দিয়েছি, কিন্তু ওই
আচ্ছা।
ইউনিভার্সিটি এইভাবে এই কোর্স এই নাম্বার কোনো কিছু নেই, আমি কোনো ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে নেই নাই, ঠিক আছে? এটা জাস্ট আমি দিয়েছি, বিকজ কোর্স নিডস টু বি আইডেন্টিফাইড বাই সাম কোডেড নেম। ওকে,
জি স্যার, জি স্যার।
Okay, any question you have? And so Khairul, we need to have a session. Actually, we didn't go over the syllabus. Give me a second. My bad. Let me open the syllabus. Let me. Okay, so let me see where is that syllabus is. Yeah, this is the last page to share. Am I sharing it? So this syllabus I have, Khairul, I have made a small changes. I'll give it to you. So course name is DS510 database system. Summer we give is summer 2024. Okay, 24. And so today we discuss this thing conceptual. There is no submission. And 29th I plan to actually, if you have any help needed, you can write me email, or I can have a join a session for some time, but it needs to be your US. If it is your evening time, it has to be let's say 7 p.m. because I work in industry. My work starts at 8 in the morning, so I can actually I will join. Let's see, I'll join my work 9 in the morning. But okay, so I can attend this class. You tell me when is good time for you for this, any clarification, help needed, week 1. We can meet that 29th May. It is 7 p.m. your time or your morning time. You tell me when do you want to meet. Morning time. Morning time, I most probably I'm free anytime. Your morning I'm free. I can meet anytime. So Khairul, please take a check with all students to see what is their preference.
স্যারের যেটা কোশ্চেন হলো যে আমরা
Khairul, শোনা যাচ্ছে না?
অনেক স্টুডেন্টস আছেন, তো সবারই পার্সোনাল কাজ থাকে, তো আপনারা যদি এইটার হেল্পটা মর্নিং টাইমে যদি নিতে চান সবাই, তাহলে দ্যাটস ওকে। সো সেটা 7টা 8টা নো প্রবলেম, ইভেন 6টা হইলেও নো প্রবলেম। তো সেই সময় মাথা ফ্রেশ থাকে। আমি জানি এটা কতটা বাস্তবসম্মত, অনেক ধরনের মানুষ আছে, এক এক ধরনের হ্যাবিট এক এক রকম। তবে আর যদি ইভিনিং এ আমরা নেই, এটা স্যার যদি নেয় এটা, তাহলে হচ্ছে এটা কুড বি 7 p.m. এবং 7 p.m. এটা হচ্ছে 29 তারিখের দিনটা হলো আপনাদের বুধবার পরে, সো বুধবার 7টায়। তো এখন সবাই যদি একটু কমেন্ট করেন অথবা আমাকে জানান, তাহলে সব মর্নিং এ কি সবাই করতে পারবেন?
সন্ধ্যায় বেটার মেবি।
সন্ধ্যায় বেটার, ইভিনিং।
বুধবার 7টায় করা যায়।
সন্ধ্যা 7টা, ইয়েস। তাহলে 7 p.m.
ওকে, আর স্যারকে ইমেল করতে পারবেন আপনার কাজটা। আর এই অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট গুলো আমি কালেক্ট করবো আপনাদের কাছ থেকে, কালেক্ট করে আমি হয়তো স্যারকে সাবমিশন করে দিব। অ্যাসাইনমেন্টের যেটা হলো যে আমাদেরকে একটা কনসেপচুয়াল মডেল তৈরি করতে হবে, যেখানে যে একটা হলো ডেটা এন্টিটি আর একটা
অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট
হচ্ছে
দিয়ে দিচ্ছি,
অ্যাট্রিবিউট।
এই অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি সবাইকে। খায়রুল, পাস অন টু স্টুডেন্টস। ওকে
স্যার একটা সাজেশন বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম।
হুম।
স্যার সবকিছু গুগল ক্লাসরুমের মাধ্যমে মেনটেন করলে ভালো হয় না? তাহলে একই জায়গায় সব ক্লাস রেকর্ডিং সেভ থাকছে এবং আপনি কি কাজ দিচ্ছেন এবং সেখানে যদি একটা অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট নোট করার জন্য অপশন দিয়ে দিতেন তাহলে স্যার সবকিছু অর্গানাইজড হয়ে যেতেন।
খায়রুল, এটা করা যাবে?
ওকে ওকে, ঠিক আছে, আমরা ইনশাআল্লাহ দেখতেছি।
আচ্ছা, তাহলে একটা কথা বলি, এখন
7:30
সবাই
রাশিদুল ভাই কমেন্ট করতেছে সন্ধ্যা 7:30টায় কি করা যাবে স্যার?
হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা করা যাবে।
এটা তো বেশি
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে,
ওকে
7:30। এই একটা কথাই বলি, যেটা 7:30, রাইট? ওকে, আই উইল রেকর্ড ইট। একটা কথা হচ্ছে যে there will be assignment, I have said, for 2 part, 50-50, 100 points, and you need to take it seriously. And in the end, all of those who participate, everybody will be awarded a certificate. But the thing is, I need to measure actually who is doing. And one other thing, we are in the US, teachers never share one's grade with other student. Can you mute your device, Kharun? Can you mute it? It is a lot of noise. Yeah. So
প্লিজ আনমিউট।
ওকে, বাংলাদেশের টিচাররা যেটা করে, যেটা গ্রেড পোস্ট করে ডিপার্টমেন্টের সামনে দেওয়ালে সবার গ্রেড জানায় দেয়। আমেরিকায় এটা নিষেধ। আমেরিকায় কারো গ্রেড কেউ জানতে পারবে না। আই উইল ফলো দ্য সেম রুল। এখানে যে অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট সাবমিট করবে তাকে আমি পার্সোনালি জানাবো, কিন্তু এটা আই উইল নট পাবলিশ ইট টু অল স্টুডেন্টস। ইট ইজ ভায়োলেশন অফ প্রাইভেসি ইন দিস কান্ট্রি। Okay, so just assure you, I hope you will feel more comfortable. We are not going to share somebody's grade with other students. All right.
অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা যে করব ওইটাতে কি ওই যে অ্যাসাইনমেন্টের মধ্যে কি ইউটিউবের ভিডিও লিংক থাকবে, ওখান থেকে কি হেল্প পাবে?
ওই অ্যাসাইনমেন্টের সব তো অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে সব দেয়া আছে, সব ইনফরমেশন দেয়া আছে, লিংক আছে, হাউ টু দা ইউটিউব ভিডিও দেয়া আছে অ্যাসাইনমেন্টের এখানে। এক্সেল ফাইলে দেওয়া আছে, ইভেন অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট ডকুমেন্টেও দেওয়া আছে। আর এনিথিং প্লিজ, ওকে, ওয়ান থিং ইজ প্লিজ স্টার্ট ওয়ার্কিং আর্লি অন। জাস্ট শনিবার এটা ডিউ, আপনি শনিবার সকালে আমার সাথে যোগাযোগ শুরু করলেন, দেন ইউ উইল নট বি এবল টু অ্যাকচুয়ালি ক্যাচ আপ থিংস দ্যাট ইউ মেক, এনি মিস্টেক ইউ মেক। So please take it seriously as if you are attending this class at a university in the US. Right, take it this, and also have a good motivation. If you learn this thing, this course, I am very confident you, it is not just your degree, you will be industry job, you should be feel very comfortable, right?
স্যার একটা বিষয় বলতে চাচ্ছি স্যার।
শিওর স্যার।
স্যার আমাদের তো যেটা দেওয়া হয়েছে অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা, ওটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার মনে হয় যে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল।
শাহবাজ ভাই কোনো কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে না, আপনার মাইক্রোফোনটা মাঝে মধ্যে ঝামেলা করতেছে।
এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে? এখন শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
লিটল বিট
হ্যালো,
মানে ক্লিয়ার।
মাইক্রোফোন
ওকে, নট এনাফ।
এখন শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
না, নাও ইটস ক্লিয়ার।
Very good.
ইয়েস, নাও লাউড এন্ড ক্লিয়ার।
আচ্ছা, আমি যেটা বলতে যাচ্ছিলাম, অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা তো এটা একটা মানে আই মিন প্র্যাকটিক্যাল ইয়ার উপরে বেস করে হবে অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা।
Right.
আর ওই রিলেশনটা আমরা নিচ্ছি হচ্ছে যে ইউটিউবের ভিডিও দেখে।
Right,
So, sir,
it's a assignment
এটা
Excel
কি-
file. Excel file is a data share করেছি, that is your assignment, the data you will be using. আমি যে Excel file শেয়ার করলাম, the employee name, equipment, all this thing, this is your data. Based on this data, you will come up with entity, you will come up with the relationship, and you will develop the conceptual model.
So, স্যার আমাদের কি এই স্লাইড গুলো কি দেওয়া হবে?
Of course,
স্লাইডে যেগুলো।
of course.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা স্যার, এটা কি আপনি ফিল করেন যে স্যার ওই ইউটিউবের ভিডিও দেখে আমরা যে ইয়েটা পাবো, দ্যাট ইজ এনাফ, অর এরপরে আরেকটা ক্লাসের বা ডিরেকশনের দরকার ছিল যে হাতে কলম
Yeah.
দেখায় দেওয়ার বিফোর?
হ্যাঁ, ওই যে 29th মে আমরা আবার মিট করব। আপনার যদি কোনো ক্ল্যারিফাইং কোশ্চেন থাকে, আই ক্যান ডু দ্যাট, ঠিক আছে? And so does that
ওকে
answer?
স্যার, আমরা
আপনার কনফিউশন গুলো ক্লিয়ার করে নিতে পারবো।
Yeah, feel free to do. Actually, there is a W3 school also. W3 school, আপনারা এটা জানেন কিনা, একটা সাইট আছে W3 school.
স্যার
হ্যাঁ
হ্যালো
হ্যাঁ, W3 স্কুলে আমি অনেক সময় স্টুডেন্টদেরকে ওখানে পাঠাই আর কি, যে এটা যারা একদম মানে আরেকটা কথা বলি, কেউ যদি ইন্ডাস্ট্রি এক্সপিরিয়েন্স থাকে, সে মনে করে যে এটা সার্টেন থিং ভেরি আই নো ইট অলরেডি, বাট বি পেশেন্ট উইথ আদার্স। দেয়ার আর মেনি স্টুডেন্টস হিয়ার আই সি অ্যাকচুয়ালি দে হ্যাভ নো নলেজ, সো ইউ হ্যাভ টু বি পেশেন্ট হিয়ার। আমেরিকাও তাই, আমরা অনেক স্টুডেন্টস দে আর গুড ইন্ডাস্ট্রি জব এক্সপিরিয়েন্স, দে আর সার্টেন থিং, বাট দে স্টিল দে লার্ন সামথিং ফ্রম হিয়ার, and something might be they already know it. But এটা USA, it is common also. Some people industry job experience, they don't know it. Okay, so I tell them, okay, you have to bear with other students, those who don't know at all, right? So and so অন্যদিকে ওইসব স্টুডেন্টকে বলি যে তারা W3 স্কুলে যেতে পারে, কিছু লার্ন করতে পারে সেখান থেকে, এরপরে I will help, right? Okay, I am here to help you, but please be proactive. This is your good opportunity to learn. Okay, এই যে
আমি আরেকটা কথা বলবো, যাদের একটু এক্সপিরিয়েন্স আছে তারা যদি অন্যদেরকে হেল্প করতে চান, সেই ক্ষেত্রে গ্রুপ স্টাডির মতো আপনারা কিন্তু এই লিঙ্কটা চাইলে ইউজ করতে পারবেন। হ্যাঁ, এটা আপনাদের জন্য ডেডিকেটেড। তো আপনারা যারা একটু প্রবলেম ফেস করতেছেন বা একজন যিনি ভালো জানেন বা পারবেন বলে মনে হয়, তাদেরকে যদি একটু কনসেপ্ট দিতে চান বা শেয়ারিং করতে চান, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু আপনারা চাইলে মানে ইন্টারকমিউনিকেট করে
one, you can discuss with a classmate, but submission writing should be on your own.
হ্যাঁ, ইয়েস।
All
Sir,
right.
আরেকটা
So
বিষয়
again, at the end of the semester, all of you will be awarded a certificate. But that is okay, regardless of what you do. But I need to see, actually measure your performance. That is just for my personal record. Okay.
স্যার
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন
আমরা
ছিল।
Mm-hmm.
হ্যালো
বলেন।
স্যার, হচ্ছে এটা তো আমরা নন টেকনিক্যাল যারা প্রথম এটা যারা মানে শুরু করতেছি, এইটা সম্পর্কে আরো বিস্তারিত জানার জন্য কোনো বই কি রিকমেন্ড করবেন?
You can read any book actually. You are free to use any book. তবে আমি এই যে স্লাইড খুব কম রেখেছি, দেখেছেন যে অ্যাসাইনমেন্টটা দেওয়া হয়েছে, কিন্তু খুব কম স্লাইড। আমি এখানে আমেরিকা স্টুডেন্টদেরকে বলি, আই এম অ্যাকচুয়ালি ফার্স্ট টাইম আমি যখন ইউনিভার্সিটি শুরু করছি, আমার 40টা স্লাইড ছিল। স্টুডেন্টরা বলছে হি ইজ রিডিং টু মেনি স্লাইডস, right? We get a lot of feedback from too many slides. Okay, I can actually show you other thing, that hands-on I can show you, that is easy for me also, right? So আপনি যেটাই করতে পারেন, অনলাইনে আপনি অনেক ইউটিউব ভিডিও পাবেন, অনেক রিসোর্স পাবেন, feel free to do that. বাট দিস অল্প কয়েকটা স্লাইড যেটা রিকোয়ারমেন্ট, এগুলা হয় আমি বলে দিচ্ছি অথবা স্লাইডে আছে। So you don't get confused, actually get lost. We can share a lot of documents. I can refer. আমি খায়রুলের সাথে কথা বলেছি, বই আমি একটা প্রেসক্রাইব করতাম, এখন খায়রুল বলতেছে স্টুডেন্টরা প্যানিক হয়ে যাবে, দেমো মনে করবো যে থিওরিটিক্যাল। কিন্তু আমি যখন এখানে যখন পড়াই, আই মাস্ট অ্যাকচুয়ালি গিভ দেম বুক রেফারেন্স। আমি আপনাকে বই রেফারেন্স দিতে পারি, কিন্তু আপনি এটা হয়তো এখানে আমেরিকা যেটা, এটা বোধহয় $40-50, কিন্তু আপনি যে ইন্টারনেট থেকে যদি কোনো ফ্রি ডেটাবেস বই কপি পান, ইউ ক্যান অ্যাকচুয়ালি কনসাল্ট দ্যাট।
স্যার যদি রিকমেন্ড করেন ভালো হয়, খুব ভালো হয় স্যার এটা।
আমি ফ্রি কপি আমি পারবো না, কিন্তু আমি ওই যে বইয়ের রেফারেন্স দিতে পারবো। সিলেবাসে
হ্যাঁ, বইয়ের রেফারেন্সটা দিলে স্যার আমি
আমি দিব।
হ্যাঁ, বইয়ের রেফারেন্সটা দিলে স্যার ওইটা আমরা নেটে একটু সার্চ করে দেখতে পারি, বা
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে,
হচ্ছে আমরা
ঠিক আছে,
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে।
আমি সিলেবাসটা আপডেট করব। হ্যাঁ
স্যার, আজকে ক্লাসে একটা পয়েন্ট একটু বুঝতে পারতেছি না স্যার, সেটা বলছিল মেনি টু মেনি রিলেশনশিপস। এটা যে কনসেপ্টটা ছিল, রিলেশনশিপ ডাটাবেস সিস্টেম ইউজুয়ালি ডোন্ট অ্যালাউ ইউ টু ইমপ্লিমেন্ট টু ডাইরেক্ট মেনি টু মেনি রিলেশনশিপ বিটুইন টু টেবলস। এটা একটু বুঝি নাই স্যার, একটু যদি একটু মানে একদম বলতে বুঝাতেন স্যার।
Good question. Yeah, I appreciate you asking this question. আপনি কিন্তু নেক্সট স্লাইড বা নেক্সট সেশন বা পরের সেশনে কিন্তু এটা জেনে যাবেন, ডেটা দিয়ে দেখাবো। I will show you by data. এটার জন্য আপনার দরকার নাই, এটার জন্য এটা হচ্ছে এইভাবে, লেটস সে আপনি ইন্টারোগেট করবেন এইভাবে, যেখানে এটা বললাম না যে ট্রেনিং এন্ড এমপ্লয়ি, রাইট? এখানে আমি এক্সাম্পল দিছি যে একটা এমপ্লয়ি তার ওয়ান টু মেনি ট্রেনিং, এবং একটা ট্রেনিং might be needed by money. কিন্তু in a database implementation, how do actually we actually resolve this issue? That is, this class is to explain those things. We'll see it. In a future
Yes.
session, we'll go over this with data.
ওকে, ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
স্যার আপনি তো বলেছিলেন যে আসলে আমরা এই কোর্সটাকে এইভাবে ট্রিট করি যাতে যেন আমরা এটা একটা ইউনিভার্সিটি কোর্স করছি ইউএসএ তে এসে। তো আমার একটা কিউরিওসিটি ছিল যে যদি স্যার আমরা এই যে ডিএস 510 কে একটা একাডেমিক কোর্সের সাথে তুলনা করি তাহলে এটা আসলে কয় ক্রেডিটের একটা কোর্স হতে পারে?
3 credit. Typically 3 credit. Yeah. অনেক ইউনিভার্সিটি এটা আসলে এটা তো আমরা 8 সপ্তাহে করি, যেমন আরবানা শ্যাম্পেনে এই কোর্সটা আমি পড়াই ইউনিভার্সিটি ইলিনয়, এটা মোস্ট প্রবাবলি সেখানে 4 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার। তারপর নর্থ ইস্টার্ন ইউনিভার্সিটি দে হ্যাভ ইট 3 ক্রেডিট, ইউনিভার্সিটি অফ অ্যারিজোনা দে হ্যাভ 3 ক্রেডিট। এটা 3 ক্রেডিট ইউ ক্যান সি। ইয়া, এখানে কোর্সগুলো হয় 3 or 4 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার। ইউ থিংক দিস ইজ এ 3 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার কোর্স।
স্যার ইউএসএ তে যে 3 ক্রেডিটের কোর্সগুলো কি 3 মাসে হয় নাকি স্যার 1.5 মাসে শেষ হয়ে যায়?
এটা ইট ভ্যারিজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি। 3 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার কোর্সগুলা হচ্ছে এখানে সেমিস্টার সিস্টেম যখন হয়, যেমন ইউনিভার্সিটি অফ অ্যারিজোনা তারা সেমিস্টার বেস ফলো করে, সেটা হবে অ্যাবাউট 5 মান্থস অ্যাকচুয়ালি, 15 উইকস অফ ক্লাস, 15 to 16 উইকস অফ ক্লাস। ঠিক আছে, এটা হচ্ছে সেমিস্টার সিস্টেম 3 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার লেটস সে। এটা হচ্ছে ওরা এইভাবেই করে যে ধরেন আপনি যদি সেমিস্টার সিস্টেমে পড়েন তারা বলবে যে you need actually 33 credit hours to do you finish your master degree semester system. আর যদি কোয়ার্টার সিস্টেম হয় সেখানে শর্ট টাইম লেটস সে 11 উইক 10 উইক, তারা বলবে যে you will need to take let's say 52 credit hours. বুঝা যাচ্ছে? ওটা নাম্বার অফ ক্রেডিট আওয়ার্স ইউ ডিগ্রি প্রোগ্রাম দ্বারা ওখানে অ্যাডজাস্ট করে ওইভাবে। সেমিস্টার সিস্টেম হলে আপনি যদি 36 মানে মাস্টার ডিগ্রি করতে 36 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার দরকার হয়, সেই আর কোয়ার্টার সিস্টেমে যদি হয় এটা আপনার লাগবে 52 ক্রেডিট আওয়ার লেটস সে। আই এম জাস্ট গিভিং ইউ সাম নাম্বার, ইটস নট গোইং টু বি দ্য এক্স্যাক্টলি 36 both cases, right?
জি স্যার।
All right, I am glad actually. I see all students are today here, and so keep attending, and I hope you will find something. This is your good opportunity actually to learn, and then after the one thing mone rakhte hobe je the more time you spend actually besides class also you will become expert. You need to be a go-to person. America company gula tara oitai care kore, you are master of everything actually, not expert, right? So it helps some cases, but অনেক সময় কোম্পানি গুলো তারা বলে go to person, তারা someone is expert some area, they actually when they lay off people they would think twice actually. They will find more inefficient people, actually they are inefficient, they will actually get rid of those people. So try to learn it very with a solid foundation, and then you should be actually I will encourage, I forgot to tell you, I will encourage that if you aspire to come overseas, you may want to take certification exam also. Oracle they have, Microsoft they have, so those certification exam will actually industry they care those certificate, industry certification, right? But industry certificate, Oracle they have database developer and DBA, they have 9 certification in 2 tracks. Actually I did long time ago, so it took me actually about 2 years actually to do all those certification. They go through everything, you will feel very confident when you go to job. But this class I am covering, you will feel very confident. I can tell you, if you follow this, if you can do this thing, you should feel very comfortable. I'll share many
কোশ্চেন স্যার।
yes
স্যার আমরা যে MySQL এর যেটা সফটওয়্যার ডাউনলোড করতেছি এটার কি কোনো ভার্সনের স্পেসিফিকেশন আছে নাকি যে কোনোটা করলেই হবে?
এগুলা কোম্পানিগুলো আমেরিকা, এইসব কোম্পানিগুলো তারা ভার্সন প্রতি বছরে বের করবে, প্রতি 2 বছরে, এটা তাদের মানি মেকিং বিজনেস ওয়ার্ক, ঠিক আছে, নট মাস্ট চেঞ্জ। আপনি যদি 2 ভার্সন 3 ভার্সন আগেরও ইনস্টল করেন, ইউ শুড বি জাস্ট ফাইন। তবে কোম্পানিতে ইন্ডাস্ট্রি তো তারা বলে, কোম্পানিগুলোকে বলে যে হে উই আর অ্যাকচুয়ালি নট গোয়িং টু সাপোর্ট দিস ভার্সন এনিমোর, ইউ হ্যাভ টু সুইচ টু দ্য লেটেস্ট ভার্সন। তো সেটাই করে আর কি। কিন্তু আপনার এই ক্লাস সেটিং এ এনি ভার্সন ইজ ওকে আই থিঙ্ক।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
মানে last 2-3 version any is just fine. Anyone else has question? So I'll share this document with Khairul, and then he will provide these documents to you very soon. Okay. And I'm
সবাই
also
একটু মেইলগুলো চেক করেন, মেইলগুলো অনেকে চেক করেন না, মেইলে কিন্তু সব ডকুমেন্ট যাবে।
ভাইয়া গুগল ক্লাসরুম ক্রিয়েট করে ওখানে
ক্লাসরুম,
মেইল করলে মেবি ভালো হয়।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে।
তাহলে আপনাকে মানে ইচ এন্ড এভরি ওয়ানকে সেন্ড করতে হবে না, একবারে এক জায়গায় সবকিছু ডকুমেন্টেড থাকে।
ওকে, অনেকে ক্লাসরুমের সাথে হ্যাবিচুয়েটেড না, তো এই জন্য এটা আমাকে দুইভাবেই দিতে হবে। দেখি আমরা ক্লাসরুম এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করবো, কিন্তু এর আগে অনেক কমপ্লেক্সিটির মধ্যে পড়তে হয়েছে,
এটা
এই জন্য আর কি।
তো এটা অনেক
আমাদের
ইজি
আমাদের
ভাইয়া,
ওয়েবসাইট
মানে
থেকে,
করোনা
ওয়েবসাইটে
টাইমে
কিন্তু আপনারা হচ্ছে যে ইউজার আইডি প্রোফাইল যারা ক্রিয়েট করে ফেলছেন তারা ভিডিওগুলো ওইখানে রেকর্ডেড পাবেন। সো লাইফ টাইম, লাইফ টাইম। হ্যাঁ, আর তো এখন আমাদের তাহলে হচ্ছে যে স্যার মোটামুটি আজকের মতো তো ক্লাস শেষ, আড়াই অলমোস্ট 2.5 hour হয়ে গেছে।
Okay, I need to
অনেক
drop.
দিনে।
Thank you very much.
So
Stay in touch.
সো যে অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে যদি প্রবলেম হয় আপনারা তো ইমেল স্যারকে করতেই পারবেন,
Yes.
এটা একটা। আর ইন্টার ডিসকাশন করতে পারেন। তো আমাদের হোমওয়ার্কটা স্যার দিলে, আমরা হোমওয়ার্কের হেল্পটা তো স্যার ওখানে ইউটিউব ভিডিও লিংক দিয়ে দিবেন না স্যার?
Yes.
ওকে, তাহলে তো আর কোনো কথাই নাই, আমরা কনসেপ্টটা ডেভেলপ করি ইনশাআল্লাহ।
All right. Thank you very much. Inshallah next week.
অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে কি খায়রুল ভাই আপনি কি ইয়ে দিবেন, এই মেইলে দিবেন নাকি না?
মেইলে দিব, হোয়াটসঅ্যাপেও দিব, সব জায়গায় আপনাদের মানে দিব। আর ওই যে ক্লাসরুমটা বললো দেখি ওটাও একটু চেষ্টা করি।
হ্যাঁ, ক্লাসরুমটা ভালো হবে। ক্লাসরুমটা যদি দেন, ওই যে আপু যেটা বলতেছিল পুরো একটা ট্র্যাকের মধ্যে থাকবে,
আচ্ছা
মানে পুরো
ঠিক,
একটা প্রসেসের মধ্যে থাকবে।
ওকে,
ভালো একটা পয়েন্ট বলছে আপনি।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে,
তো ওইটা যদি করতে পারেন ভালো।
আচ্ছা
ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে।
ফার্স্ট ক্লাস অনেক অনেক রকমের এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হবে, আমরা একটু অ্যাডজাস্ট করি, ধীরে ধীরে ঠিক হয়ে যাবে। আর আমাদের এটা কিন্তু
অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সটা গুগল
পুনরায়
ডক্সে নিলে হয় না?
রিপিট করার সুযোগ থাকবে, টেনশন করার কোনো কারণ নেই। জি,
অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সটা গুগল ডক্সে নিলে ভালো হয় না?
অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সটা গুগল ডক্সে নেওয়া যায়। আমাদের অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স আমি স্ক্রিনশট রাখছি, ওইখানে দিয়ে ইয়ে করব আমি। এখন এটা তো পেইড কোর্স, আপনারা যার যার প্রয়োজন এই তো আসছেন আপনারা, এখন যদি
এটাও
কেউ
true।
হ্যাঁ, তো আমরা তারপরও মেনটেন করতেছি, জাস্ট মানে তাকে রিমাইন্ডার দেওয়ার জন্য, অনেক ব্যস্ত থাকে অনেকে, ওই জন্য আর কি। তো যাতে পরপর 2টা ক্লাস মিস না হয় যায়, এই আর কি, বা টেক কেয়ার করার জন্য। আর এমনি ইনশাল্লাহ আপনাদের স্যার যেটা মেজার করতে চাচ্ছে, আপনারা স্যারকে মানে প্লিজ করতে পারলে হয়তো পজিটিভ কিছু স্যার দিতে পারবে, ওই জন্যই হয়তো বলছে। তো ভালো করে ইনশাল্লাহ করলে স্যার মানে ইয়েতে থাকবে, গ্রেড দেওয়ার উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে এটা। এবং এটা আপনার কারোর সাথে কারোটা শেয়ার হবে না, এটা ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল স্যারের কাছেই থাকবে। কোন ফিউচারে প্রজেক্ট আসলে হয়তো প্রজেক্ট নিলে বা ইয়া করলে কাজগুলোতে হয়তো বা প্রায়োরিটি ফিক্স করা আর কি, যে আপনাদের কার কনফিডেন্ট লেভেলটা কার উপরে কিরকম আছে, কাকে দিলে সলভ হবে। তো ওই জিনিসগুলো আর কি। তো এখানে অনেকে যারা আছে যে একেবারে ফ্রেশ, হয়তো আজকে মাথার উপর দিয়ে গেছে, আমার নিজেরও গেছে কিছু জিনিস, তবে আস্তে আস্তে ঠিক হবে আর কি। আর স্যারের কাছ থেকে মানে 1-to-1 বুঝে বুঝে নেওয়ার যেহেতু সুযোগ আছে, ঠিক হয়ে যাবে, অ্যাংজাইটি রাখার প্রয়োজন নাই। ওই কনসেপচুয়াল মডেলটা আমরা আসলে অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট গুলো ফলো করলেই হবে।
স্যারে তো আজকে যা বুঝলো সব থিওরিটিক্যাল পার্ট গুলি বুঝাইতো আর কি,
হ্যাঁ
যেটা বুঝলাম আর কি,
হ্যাঁ
বেসিক এবং থিওরিটিক্যাল। তো
হ্যাঁ
আমরা তো আসলে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল কাজ করি, ডাটা মডেল কিভাবে কাজ করে প্র্যাকটিক্যালি তো কাজ করছি, বাট
হ্যাঁ
এর আগে যে পার্ট থিওরিটিক্যাল পার্টটা, লজিক্যাল যে পার্টটা কি আছে, স্যার কিন্তু ওইটাই বোঝানোর চেষ্টা করলো,
হ্যাঁ,
ওইটাই বুঝলাম আমার কাছে এটা মনে হচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা। এই আমাদের একজন ইয়ে আছেন, এক্সপার্ট মানুষ আছেন, আলিমুজ্জামান, উনিও আমাদের একজন বয়োজ্যেষ্ঠ এবং এক্সপিরিয়েন্সড। স্যার কে আছেন নাকি?
তো ভাইয়া কিছু বলেন যে
আমাদের
ভাইয়ের কথা বলেন।
আলিমুজ্জামান ভাই আছেন এখানে, ক্লাসে আছেন?
Ex ছিল তো ওই যে একটু
হ্যাঁ,
আগে
যে একটা লিঙ্ক দিচ্ছেন, একটু বলেন আপনার অভিজ্ঞতাটা একটু বলেন। লিঙ্ক,
আলিম ভাই বলেন,
হ্যাঁ লিঙ্ক
আলিম ভাই শেয়ার করেন, আপনি যদি কিছু জানেন তাহলে শেয়ার করেন, আমরা কিছু শিখলাম, আমরা নিজে নিজে ডিসকাস করলে আমরা অনেক কিছু জানতে পারবো।
হ্যাঁ, একটা লিঙ্ক পাঠাইছে আমাদেরকে, গিগস ফর গিগস ডট, আচ্ছা
এখন আপাতত বলার একটা কথাই আছে, সেটা হলো ক্ষুধা লাগছে।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, ওকে তাহলে ইনশাল্লাহ আল্লাহ হাফেজ। আপনারা যাচ্ছেন না বলে আমি আছি কি, ঠিক আছে।
বুধবার সময় করতে পারলে দেখা যাক, তখন আমিও
আচ্ছা
একটু দেখি।
ওকে ঠিক আছে।
ঠিক এই লেভেলে, প্রোগ্রামিং লেভেলে আসলে আমি কাজ করি নাই, অভিজ্ঞতা নাই, বা যেটুকু করছি সেটা খুবই সামান্য।
হ্যাঁ, না আপনাদেরকে একেবারে ভালো মতো শিখাই নিয়ে যাওয়ার চেষ্টা আছে, এখন বাকিটা আপনারা হাল না ছাড়লেই হয়েছে, মানে যে জিরোতে আছেন সে তাকেও শিখাই নিয়ে যাবে, অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট গুলো প্রয়োজনে যত বা
আচ্ছা,
স্যারের সাথে।
স্যার
হ্যাঁ
তো বইয়ের নামটা দিতে বললেন স্যারকে, বইয়ের
দিয়ে দিবে,
নামটা
হ্যাঁ
বলবেন?
দিয়ে দিবে, ওটা হয়তো বা অ্যাটাচ করে দিয়ে দিবে।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক
ওকে
আছে।
তাহলে আমি
ওই যে এসকিউএল ইনস্টলেশন নিয়ে কারো কোনো প্রবলেম আছে কিনা একটু জিজ্ঞেস
আর
করে
কোনো
দেখতে
প্রবলেম
পারেন।
আছে বা নাই মনে হয়, সবার দুইজনের সাথে কথা হয়েছে। ইমরান ভাই কি আছেন? ইমরান খান ভাই, ইমরান খান ভাই তো কথা বলে না। ইমরান খান ভাই,
আচ্ছা, এটা ডাউনলোডস এ মনে হয় সমস্যা ছিল, কিন্তু ইনস্টলেশনটা তো দেখলাম স্ট্রেট ফরওয়ার্ড, এটা খুব একটা
ইমরান খান
সমস্যা
ভাই
নাই।
কি জয়েন করছেন? ইমরান খান আমার, আচ্ছা আগে মনে হয় মিস করছে ক্লাসটা। ওকে তো ঠিক আছে, তাহলে আমরা সাইন অফ করলাম, হ্যাঁ আপনার অনুমতি দিলে।
হ্যাঁ ভাইয়া, ডাউনলোড
আল্লাহ
বা
হাফেজ, আল্লাহ হাফেজ।
যেন
হ্যাঁ শাহবাজ ভাই, আপনার
আলিমুজ্জামান ভাই।
ম্যাকে কি প্রবলেম সলভ হয়েছে? এটা যেটা আপনার কি জানি বললেন 3 ঘন্টা লাগতেছে, মানে এটা তো অনেক কারণে হয়, বলা যায় না আসলে কার কোথায় কি, অনেক সময়
না,
নেটওয়ার্কিং
ওই
ট্রাবল থাকে।
আপনি তো সেকেন্ডটা নিতে বলছিলেন, পরে ওটা
হ্যাঁ
দেখতেছি হচ্ছে না, 6-7 ঘন্টা ধরে ওটা কেটে দিয়ে প্রথমটা আবার দিচ্ছি।
ওয়ার্ক বেঞ্চটা কি
প্রথমটা
আসছে
হচ্ছে
তো? ওয়ার্ক বেঞ্চটা তো আসছে না?
ইয়েটা ডাউনলোড হয়েছে, প্রথমটা হয়েছে, মানে দ্বিতীয় যেটা
না
বলছিলেন ওটা
হয়েছে
করতে
তো,
পারবেন।
আপনি কি ওপেন করে ওই যে লোকাল সার্ভারে কানেক্ট করতে পারছেন, মানে ওয়ার্ক বেঞ্চ যেটা, ওইটা কি আসছে? মানে যেটা প্রোগ্রাম রান করবেন যে পেজটা। ওকে এটাই গেল। তো সাবের আপু আছেন, কিছু বলবেন? আমরা কেটে দিলাম, আপনি আছেন?